A petitioner, Eliud Matindi, argued that under Article 246(3)(a) of the Constitution, it is the commissioner, not the service, that is mandated to recruit police officers.
I believe the IG NPS does not have the constitutional or statutory authority to carry out that exercise.
The Employment and Labour Relations Court, however, closed the exercise on 2nd October, and on 30th October, Judge Helen Wasila further barred the Commission from carrying out the recruitment process, thus giving the service and the Inspector General the green light to go ahead with it.
The way that the Constitution and the laws of Kenya work is that courts can only exercise jurisdiction which is given to them either by the Constitution or by law or by an act of parliament.
Subsequently, the Inspector General issued a fresh advertisement to recruit 10,000 police officers at 422 centers countrywide on November 17, 2025. In his petition, Matindi contends that this move was unconstitutional, arguing that the IG has no legal authority to undertake police recruitment without express delegation from the NPSC.
It is my belief that that power is given to the National Police Service Commission.
In issuing the temporary orders against the recruitment, Justice Bahati Mwamuye noted the petition raises substantial constitutional and public interest that must be determined before any recruitment proceeds.
As things stand now, the recruitment exercise that was advertised by the IG of the National Police Service to take place on Monday, the 17th of November 2025, has been stopped until the court directs otherwise.
The matter will be mentioned on 22nd January next year to confirm compliance and for further directions. A state of dilemma continued to cloud the recruitment of the 10,000 police officers, with the latest orders coming from the Constitutional Court. Which way? Is it NPS or NPSC? Ruth Wamboi reporting from Milimani, Law Court.
Very important question there posed by Ruth Wamboi. Now, the Teachers Service Commission will join the Social Health Authority, SHA, from December the 1st, 2025. This follows a meeting with the teachers' unions who agreed to transition from the private medical insurance scheme, AON-MINET, whose contract ends on the 30th of November, 2025. TAC says it will sensitize members ahead of the migration, which will see 400,000 teachers join SHA.
That we will take into consideration as we finalize the scheme. They have also given us a few take-homes which we are going to discuss further. But what we've agreed is that we are transitioning to SHA.
The former scheme catered for children, and now we shall have 5, an additional 1. Okay, the turnaround time for operations could not be very definite, but we've been told here it is forward. 4 minutes? 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Yeah.
The number of health facilities have also increased from 800 to 9,600 just at the beginning. So that means that the teachers will have access to more health facilities than before.
We're looking at expanding this list to include level 6 hospitals, level 5 hospitals, level 4 hospitals, level 3A, B hospitals, and level 2 hospitals. In terms of ownership, public, private, FBO. So the offering here for teachers will actually be much improved and expanded, together with also access to chronic conditions. There'll be no pre-qualifying that happens in the private sector. A teacher who has a chronic condition will be able to come in and access SHA.
Still on matters education, where teachers, or Kenya primary school head teachers, are meeting in Mombasa for an annual general meeting amid calls on the government to establish clear pathways for the certification and registration of refugee teachers within Kenyan education system. This year's conference also comes at the height of agitation by junior secondary school teachers for autonomy.
Sheikh Ali Zayed Children's Home in Mombasa is this year playing host to the Kenya Primary School Head Teachers Association annual general meeting and conference. The meeting is providing a platform for the head teachers to articulate their issues and press for better running of the education sector. This year, the head teachers have kicked off the conference by calling for proper integration of refugee teachers into the Kenyan education system.
Many of these teachers still face systemic and administrative barriers that limit their professional recognition, including challenges related to identity, documentation, certification, and registration. It is therefore Ketchan's humble prayer to the Ministry of Education and the Teachers Service Commission and other key policy makers to prioritize the establishment of clear pathways of certifying and registering refugee teachers within Kenya's education system.
The head teachers opined that extending professional recognition to refugee teachers would reaffirm Kenya's commitment to inclusive and equitable education while advancing national goals on refugee integration. The meeting in Mombasa comes even as the government grapples with the demand by junior secondary school teachers for autonomy. Junior secondary schools are currently administered by primary school head teachers who are also pushing for better job grading owing to the added responsibilities. From Mombasa County, I am Ann Mburu.
Bishop Emeritus of the Catholic Diocese of Kakamega, Right Reverend Philip Sulumete, has passed on, aged 88. The long-serving prelate died on Sunday night at a Nairobi hospital. The late Bishop Emeritus was born on August 15, 1937 in Busia County and was ordained a priest for the Diocese of Kisumu on January 6, 1966. On February 28, 1978, he was appointed the first Bishop of Kakamega. President William Ruto led the country in eulogizing the late Bishop Emeritus Sulumete, saying he was a devoted servant of God, a pillar of faith, and a compassionate shepherd whose life and ministry transform communities.
Kwa niaba ya kanisa Anglikana Kenya, napenda kutoa rambirambi zetu na za kwangu mwenyewe kwa familia na marafiki na kanisa Katoliki kwa kupoteza askofu mustaafu ama emeritus Philip Sulumete. Alikuwa changizo kubwa kwa maendeleo ya Kenya na kanisa Kianglikana na kanisa Katoliki. Tumefanya kazi kwa karibu sana.
Baba Askofu Sulumete ametuacha na yeye amekuwa bishop wetu hapa Kakamega miaka mingi sana. Wakati tunapigania katiba hii mpya, yeye alikuwa kwenye kamati ambayo ilikuwa inaunda hiyo katiba.
Rambirambi zangu nikiwa Mkatoliki kwa jamii ya Wakatoliki kufuatia kifo cha Emeritus Bishop Philip Sulumete.
Look now at matters security, where Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has emphasized the need for collaboration between the judiciary and security sector to enhance fair delivery of justice. Murkomen disclosed that an effective justice system can only be achieved when all state agencies involved in law enforcement, prosecution, and corrections work in harmony. These sentiments were made during the launch of the Administration of Justice in Kenya Annual Report 2024-25 and the Justice Sector Monitoring, Evaluation and Learning Framework, MAL, in Nairobi.
Monitoring, Evaluation and Learning Framework is equally important because it will help us measure something Kenya are deeply deeply care about the speed of justice in Kenya, the delivery of justice in Kenya. Let us be honest, Kenyans are impatient, and rightly so. When someone reports a crime, they want the action. When a case goes to court, they want it resolved. When someone serves their time in prison, they deserve a genuine chance at the rehabilitation and a new start of life.
We recognized what you did in Jukwaa ya Usalama. We always do it as the judiciary. You remember in January we had the Judiciary Dialogue Day. And at the Court Users Committee, we are always trying to bring everybody together. But what Jukwaa did was to energize the police, the chiefs, and everybody to take the rightful position at the Court Users Committee.
To the counties now, where a multi-agency team led by the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, has intercepted a 40-foot container at the port of Mombasa carrying 9.5 million illicit cigarettes disguised as sanitary towels valued at 200 million shillings. This could have cost the country 76 million shillings in lost tax revenue. These and more in our County News Roundup.
The World Radiography Day celebrates a discovery of X-rays and recognizes the vital role radiographers play in modern healthcare. To commemorate the event, the Nairobi Women Hospital organized a community walk awareness activities highlighting the importance of emerging inpatient care.
We do apologize for that mix-up in the news stories, but we move on where calls for expansion of access to affordable capital, promotion of e-commerce and drafting conducive policies for micro, small and medium enterprises dominated the ministerial roundtable at the 25th East Africa Community MSME Trade Fair 2025. Leaders at the event also called for the simplification and harmonization of the regulatory frameworks to support a common position to negotiate on business terms. Kamcha Menza tells us more.
At the Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi, a large white tent buzzes with energy. Thousands of entrepreneurs showcasing their innovations at the ongoing 25th EAC MSME 2025 Expo and Trade Fair. This underscoring the critical role the informal sector plays in regional economies, notwithstanding the existing challenges.
From limited market access to inadequate financing to technological barriers to the effect of climate change.
Leaders say unlocking access to finance, markets, promotion of e-commerce, business-friendly regulation and leveraging on technology are key for MSMEs.
The challenge is not lack of liquidity. Rather, the challenge is to ensure the bankability of our SMEs, to ensure that they have access to affordable trade finance.
We can't settle for just having a call to action. We need to have an implementation as the follow-up. We're very good at calls to action. We're very good at paper. What we do after is what is going to be critical.
Informal sector accounts for 90% of new jobs created and 30% of Kenya's GDP.
While governments continue to strengthen policy frameworks for an enabling business environment, we must all, as stakeholders, work collaboratively to create a supportive ecosystem.
The e-citizen platform was cited as an example of how innovation can unlock new opportunities.
To the partners gathered here, how then can we appropriate the data, the behavioral trends that we see in order to forecast for policy and insights and to guide incentives, green incentives, financing incentives.
Well, as leaders deliberate on policies and funding, these entrepreneurs remain the heartbeat of Africa's economy, driving innovation and livelihoods from the ground up. Kamche Menza at Uhuru Gardens, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kamche Menza. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has challenged the youth to take advantage of government initiatives to drive inclusive growth through technology. Mudavadi says the government has expanded national fiber coverage by over 37,000 kilometers in 3 years and rolled out public Wi-Fi that serves about 2 million monthly users. Tilio Marco tells us more.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi was at the inaugural Software and Artificial Intelligence Summit at Moi University in Eldoret, where he reiterated Kenya's commitment to becoming Africa's leading hub for software and artificial intelligence innovation.
We are here to position Kenya as Africa's coding champion, a powerhouse where talent, technology, and innovation fuse to drive inclusive growth and redefine digital leadership across the continent.
He announced that Moi University will host a new Center for Artificial Intelligence and the Internet of Things IoT, which will become a hub for cutting-edge research and innovation in partnership with the Ministry of ICT and other agencies.
AI is not a distant dream. It is a present superpower, a tool to enhance humanity and skyrocket productivity. But its true magic lies in our hands, how we harness it to build a future of abundance.
According to Mudavadi, the software market is now worth over $700 billion, while artificial intelligence is expected to generate more than $1.7 trillion in value in the coming years.
What we need is robust infrastructure, forward-thinking policies and bold investments to nurture this talent and scale ideas for global impact.
Globally, software accounts for 15% of GDP, and that is where we want Kenya to get in the soonest time possible.
Mudavadi said government initiatives such as Ajira, Jitume, and the Digital Hubs program have trained more than 600,000 young people in coding, data science, and digital entrepreneurship.
Let me take you back to the counties where a multi-agency team led by the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, has intercepted 40-foot container at the port of Mombasa carrying 9.5 million illicit cigarettes disguised as sanitary towels valued at 200 million shillings. This could have cost the country 76 million shillings in lost tax revenue. This and more in our continuous roundup.
The intercepted consignment, packed in 954 boxes, is a breakthrough in the ongoing war against illicit trade and tax evasion. KRA Deputy Commissioner of Customs in charge of border control and enforcement, Chege Masharia, lauded international coordination and timely information sharing that led to the interception of the illicit tobacco.
Such kind of business is posing a lot of significant health and revenue concerns to us as a country. Another key component that I would like to highlight that has been assisting us so much in carrying out our mandate of enforcement and interception is the process of scanning technology. We have scanners all over the point of entry.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers and Kenya Secondary Schools Health Association, KESHA, has joined family and friends in urging the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and Inspector General of Police to expedite investigations into the death of the principal of Munyuki High School in Lugari, Simon Isiaho.
Kama uko na information yoyote na clue kuhusu kifo cha mwalimu ama nani amehusika katika hii masuala ya hii kitendo ya unyama, muende kwa ofisi ya Lumaganda ya DCI na ya polisi OCBD, mpeane huyo shahidi hapa ili kufanya hii mambo kuwa fast tracked. Huyu mtu mwenye amefanya hii kitendo akamatwe aende ndani.
In Nakuru County, a water service provider has urged the government to lower annual levies for pumping drinking water from boreholes to enhance coverage in areas of acute water shortage. The director of SOA Kenya Academy, James Yagon, says the current regime of annual levies is exorbitant for providers to establish sustainable water projects in areas with a high clean water deficit.
And one of the basic needs is water. If they have water,
if they have food, they're able to grow their own food. And that's why I say that the country has developed.
Kitambo tulikuwa tunaenda maji wengine kama Nsai, kama mimi mzee alikuwa anaenda Ndarugu huko Kaptembwa, lakini kwa saa hii tuko na furaha sana kwa sababu tumeona maji na tunakunywa, bado tunaendelea kukunywa na tutakunywa zaidi.
Finally, the Nyandarua County Government has officially commenced construction of the new Olkalau Stadium, a modern sports complex expected to transform the region's sporting landscape. Governor Kiaria Badilisha expresses gratitude to President William Ruto for supporting the project, which will be implemented by China Roads Bridges Corporation CRBC under the supervision of the Kenya Defence Forces KDF.
Within the next 3 to 6 months, God willing, we will have a stadium of 10,000 seating capacity, and therefore it will be a milestone to the people of Nyandarua, the young people who want to venture into athletics. They will have a very good stadium for them to practice.
A look at sports now, where Kenya's representatives at this year's Women Basketball League Africa qualifiers Zetech University began their campaign on a disappointing note, falling 75-61 to Les Hippos of Burundi at the Nyayo National Stadium Gymnasium. The Kenyan side put up a spirited fight in the opening quarter. Well, that story puts a cap on the news this morning. Thank you as always for your time and your company. My name is Maria Ambo, and of course, my colleague Victor Lo will be taking you through the rest of Good Morning Kenya just after this break.
What can I do for you? I'm Marcelo Escalante's mother. This is to teach you to stay away from an engaged man.
Who does she think she is? To come here to my house and yell at me?
Oh, please, don't be a hypocrite. Since when did you care about me? I can't stand this girl.
Don't you remember?
Remember what?
Oh, really? But don't you remember when Rodrigo ran away from the church and left Lucia there?
All right, welcome back. Okay, it's now 2 minutes past 7 a.m. Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. Today being a Tuesday, 11th day of November 2025. We still want to consume politics. That's how we do it every single day, politics. And my guest already in studio. Let me start with the lady. Crispus and Umwami Tafadhali, let's not be accused of gender biasness, right?
Correct.
So let me start with Dr. Evelyn Ogendo. Are you happy, Dr. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Salama, good to see you.
Good to see you. Been a while.
Yeah. I don't know where you disappeared to, but you'll tell us shortly. Anytime I call you, you are always on call. Very busy. Very
just
good.
Being a good Kenyan, responding to the rhythm.
Right.
Yeah.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much.
And next to him is Umwami. Wafula Mutachi is a political analyst and Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County, joining me on set. Umwami Mboloria. Karibu sana.
Yes.
Asante sana.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I always ask him why he's not carried some sacks of maize from Trans Nzoia. Really, Umwami?
A lot of maize from the Trans Nzoia. They are there. And you know now maize, once they are in the store,
yes,
become the property of my wife. Now I become a useless person.
Christmas
but when it is the farm,
I thought you were going to make a deal. Like in
I want him to add the volume.
Yeah, it becomes different.
Yeah. But that is a fact anyway. You know, he will question you so many things. Whom are you taking to?
There's a lock code.
Yeah. Even if I say I'm going to consume,
no.
She says this
substantiate.
No. How will you manage all these things? One bag. But now when I tell her, yes, I'm taking to my friend Victor, maybe she will accept.
Next time,
because
please
Mm.
she knows you.
Considers. And Crispus Wathimba is a political analyst. He's an engineer by profession. Asante sana for joining us.
Thank you for
Thank you so
having
much. So, gentlemen, Odoyewid is also joining us on set shortly. Let's start where we should. I don't know, what do you have there on the front page of the Star, Mommy? What does the Star newspaper say?
Oh, it's a good one. You remember there is a time I told you before the end of this year, I think the opposition might split. Now you can see the newspaper is now revealing that Ruto plots to split opposition, targets Wamalwa and Kalonzo. So I believe my wording here in this studio will come to pass. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Generally, give us more details because you're the one who said it.
Yeah, I know a person like Kalonzo has stayed in coal for so long. He has been a vice president. And since that time, he has not been in the government. You know, it is very expensive when you are used to Madam, yes, laughing. It's too expensive when you are used to in government motorcade and security, fuel free, you know, travel, expenses is catered for, VIP treatment, all those things. And, you know, you have a say, you can employ, you can, you know, do good things, you can bring a development to your area. All those things now, Kalonzo is not doing it. Now, he feels like he should be in the government. And that's why they are fighting to remove Ruto. But now I know Ruto is very clever, the way I see, is targeting Wamalwa. Same with Wamalwa. Wamalwa has been, you know, I contested with Wamalwa parliamentary seat in Saboti, 2007. But when he rised, he didn't come back again. Yeah, he has been minister for several years. So he's used with these good privileges in the government. So staying out for almost 10 years to him will make him grow old very easily. So I think when President Ruto targets Wamalwa too, I think it's a big fish to catch.
Okay, it's a big fish to catch. Crispus doesn't have a newspaper. I'll take that on his behalf. Crispus, what do you make of that headline? The landscape is becoming softer or harder?
I think it's typical of Kenyan politics. Typical of a scenario where we abhor vacuum. With the exit of Raila, there has to be a reorganization of our political space. And Ruto being the head of state right now, as being the most supreme political leader in the country at the moment, he definitely has to exercise his muscle and see what he can be able to bring forth to his court. Kalonzo, Wamalwa appear to be the most attractive prize at the moment because they bring the Kamba and the Luya nation vote. So I believe Ruto, in his wisdom, is right to pursue the possibility of bringing Kalonzo and Wamalwa to his fourth. Given that he has lost a very big voting bloc, which is Mount Kenya, and it appears there is no possibility of getting back Mount Kenya despite making Kindiki the vice president. That vote appears to be gone. The other thing also, Luo Nyanza vote, okay, he's convinced they are part of his broad-based government, but we have a history of the Luo people not showing up to vote. So that also informs his decision to seek further wide in terms of who he can be able to call to his coalition.
Okay, let's bring in Odoyowidi. He's a political analyst and a commentator, a gentleman who is not new to Jerusalem. There was a comment I saw somewhere on Facebook. I think I'll trace it. Somebody made a comment to you, inviting you for some function this weekend. Good morning.
Where is this function? I wouldn't mind joining them.
I'll give you that invite. I don't know whether you've been invited or not. As founding members. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Karibu sana.
I was actually waiting for you to look for me, but you found me.
You are here.
Yes.
Thank you for sparing some time.
Yes.
Let's just take front page of that, Besta. Omwami started it for us. And Ruto is planning to do what, Omwami? Take it up again.
Ruto plots to split opposition against Kalonzo and Wamala. And so many others are coming on board also.
Yeah.
You know, that headline could be written in any other way. It depended on the thinking of the writer. Yeah. He could also have written that Ruto is now hunting in Western. So if he chose to write that targeting to split opposition, I think it was his mindset. It was his relationship with President William Ruto. But what I think now, President William Ruto, like every other presidential candidate, must look for followers wherever he can find them.
Yeah.
In fact, before Wamalwa and such people are presidential candidates, they are also citizens with the votes. And of course, influencers who have followings that President William Ruto would definitely want to get re-elected. I was reading somewhere on social media today about an Ethiopian man, a blogger, was saying he really envies Kenya. Some of the headlines he sees in Kenya you cannot find in Somalia, you cannot find in Tanzania, you cannot find in Uganda, you cannot find in South Sudan. You can only find them in Kenya.
Why?
Because you will not be allowed. You will be shut down like Kibaki shut down Standard in when was that?
It was,
yes. So he says, and Kenyans are complaining. He couldn't understand it. He couldn't understand it. And actually, at one point in time, all the opposition leaders surrounding Kenya were in jail. And at that time, we were going through a due process to remove Rigathi. So I think in Kenya, we sometimes refuse to impeach. Sometimes, that time Rigathi was being impeached, all the opposition leaders around Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, and South Sudan were all in jail. And we are still complaining. When you saw the headline that was in one of the dailies, where the three presidents, Suluhu, Ruto, and Museveni were put there, and very interesting words put down there. He said such a headline you cannot find even in that very Uganda.
Correct.
Or that Tanzania.
Yeah.
And he said that, you see, these people have discovered they no longer have any negative content about President William Ruto. So they go borrowing what has happened in Uganda and Tanzania, put them together and add President William Ruto to it. I think it was unfair and it was irresponsible journalism. That is what I think.
Okay, let me take... Dr. You want to comment on that as well? I think it's...
I should. I think him trying to get more people on board, I think is politically correct, just like anyone. It's not only him who is who can get other people, but even other competitors are also free to do so. But if you want to win, according to me, if a giant is looking for you, it means you are among the people who make it possible for an election to be won or to be lost. Yeah. So I think it's just a normal political intrigue.
Okay.
Because how are you going to, politics is about numbers. It's not basically about, and I see our country most of the time, they really do not get down to the nitty gritty of what is your manifesto, manifestos have been reduced to just rhetoric papers that explain things of wishful thinking. And I think it's just being a politician, just like any other.
Okay.
And we said earlier, and we've been speaking here, somehow this the writing is on the wall. You know, 2 days in politics are very many days. Yeah. Things change, and now they're bound to change.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me take you through the front page. Okay, on the Standard, what do you have there on the front page of the Standard?
Well, that's I just got stuck. I really love this, which is what is on the front page today. Principles from hell. Personally, I have relatives. I think, according to me, I should read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The principles from hell. Can I read the other?
You can just give an excerpt.
Okay. It just talks about how principals of schools, be it in primary school or in the high schools, how they're manipulating the junior teachers. And I agree, because I have relatives who have really been manipulated by the principals, in that I would like maybe TSC as an institution should look into this, and they should break down. I'm not saying that to dispute the powers, but to clearly also consider the other junior teachers, because most of them, if you are not a favorite of the principal, you suffer. And I have relatives who have suffered in the hands of principals who are, let's say, here. So TSC should look into that, in those oppressed teachers. They have an upper hand of speaking to their regional officers and saying things about their junior teachers, and they get away with it. So who is going to protect them? Because the union also tends to like respond positively to the principals because of the powers vested in them. So TSC should look into this, because it's something that has really even made some teachers to commit suicide. It has depressed most of them. They are under, most of them are under pressure medications, because you are at work being oppressed, sometimes openly before the learners. It's something TSC should look at.
Okay.
I think it's just a timely heading, and I thank the Standard for that.
On the front page of the Daily Nation, thank you, Daktari. Teachers split over SHA medical cover. That is just hours after top officials of Teachers Union signed a deal with the government to migrate the medical insurance scheme of over 400,000 teachers to the Social Health Authority. A section of tutors have now expressed displeasure, citing a lack of public participation. Primary school heads attending the annual meeting in Mombasa termed the transition, quote-unquote, rushed and opaque, and warned of a backlash in the upcoming union elections. Now, it's about the migration from the Minute-led consortium to set to take effect on 1st of December. That is what is here. Why Trump's deputy won't be coming to Kenya? He was meant to be visiting the country later this month, but that has been put aside. And now the country is also mourning the death of Bishop Sulumeti, who passed on at the age of 88, as well as singer Betty Bayo, who also succumbed to illness yesterday. Our thoughts and prayers to the family. Okay, so let's come back. What is your take on the political landscape that you're experiencing right now, Crispus, in the country generally? I know a lot of things are now happening, but based on even what we are seeing on the Star newspaper, perhaps not even just to avoid it, but what is the general political landscape, in your own opinion, that we are in currently?
There appears to me a lot of uncertainty in terms of which direction the country ought to take in terms of the kind of political culture we are going to have.
Yes.
Given that for the last 20-25 years, Raila Amolo Odinga has been able to kind of dictate indirectly the kind of politics discourse we have had in the nation. Most of the engagements politically has been about pro or against Raila, and now with his exit, there is a lot of desire by many Kenyans to seek another person who can be able to guide them in terms of the kind of direction they need to take politically. And therefore, this vacuum will create a lot of reorganization and organization of political parties and alliances. Unfortunately, there will be consequences in this reorganization. To what extent that consequences will affect Kenyans in terms of economic development, in terms of the character and stability of our nation, we are yet to see. But I see the likes of William Ruto the likes of Gachagua, the like of Uhuru Kenyatta and Kalonzo and Wamalwa, and now the emergence of people like Natembeya playing a very critical role in terms of the kind of direction our politics will take. The unity of purpose that Raila stood for, I do not see that going forward, where if I lose, I might be willing to work with the one who has beaten me in the political contest, because Raila shaped the politics of the country. So he knew even if I lose, my possibility to go and work with the person who has beaten me in the contest is very possible. I don't see that kind of politics going forward. So probably the losers will remain as losers, the winners will remain as losers. Possibility of future handshakes, I don't see it coming. But I also see an emergence of new political players who can be able to shape a different kind of politics. So let us see. The next 6-7 months, things will shape up. ODM is having its celebrations. Let's see who will be invited and see how the discussions will go forward. Yes.
What is your political landscape opinion, Umwami? Because he's mentioned the likes of Natembeya. I mean, last week there was a mixture of Kalonzo Matiang'i and Kalonzo Natembeya ticket. Today there is a different headline altogether that is seeming going to disintegrate. How is it going to be?
Last time I said, politics is dynamic. Politics is dynamic, and the way my brother said, the new entrants who are trying to fit in Baba's shoes, I think like Rigiji, who find the shoe being too big for him, and also actually replacing that shoe to a different person is going to be difficult. That's why the politics of this country now is going to be different altogether. You know what? Most of the politicians we have right now are with that hard stand that I cannot support you, I'm in the opposition, I hate you, and there is no time I'll talk with you. These are some of the politicians we have. But the way he said, Baba has brought us from far. That you can defeat me in this contest, tomorrow we are shaking hands. Now that scenario in politics, maybe it's going to be difficult. And I don't see anybody fitting that shoes any sooner. Because the way I see these opposition people, the likes of Rigiji, the likes of Natembeya comes from my constituency, and I know maybe the reason why he's trying to shift from the county to national level, because in the county, people are complaining he has not done anything, and in Trans Nzoia, what people want actually most, is a region of boom harvest. Now, when people are harvesting and the roads are poor, they incur a lot of problems transporting their goods. So we found the roads are not good, and the governor has taken very little effort to work on the roads. So, and the pressure is on the ground for him to improve the road network. So I think that's why he wants to shift politics, not to be ashamed in 2027 losing election in governorship. But from where I sit, I learn him like somebody who has a constant stand, that when he hates you, it's automatic like that. So I don't see if these are the people who will fit in the Baba shoes. It is going to be difficult, because once he has hated Ruto, he can't come and, he needs to learn. I think this book of Baba has so many pages that people need to read. Pages like reconciliation, pages like, forgiveness. Those pages, some of these people don't have. And they need to read from that book of Baba, so that at a point, you put the country first, whereby you forget what you've gone through, and then you focus on how to build the country.
Okay.
Now, this is the problem that we are having, and most of our leaders, few leaders can have that qualities, but now those ones who are in the opposition, I see maybe Kalonzo can try to fit in that shoes, because he has been with Baba for quite some time, and he has learned what Baba has been doing. He's forgivable, and he can reunite, and that's why this newspaper, Star newspaper, says Ruto's plot to split opposition targets Kalonzo and Wamalwa.
Okay, allow me just to come back. I'll come back to that question again. But then, the question, when you listen to what the former president said last week, when he unveiled Mwalimu Doyo, he unveiled Matiang'i as the deputy party leader of Jubilee. What is the effect to that? People thought that Jubilee was dead and buried because initially they had issues in court. And now it's slowly sprouting.
There can only be two sides to that story, or two options. Because when you see the opposition has split into two, into Jubilee and DCP, each fronting a candidate, and the owners of those political parties are from the same camp that really fought President William Ruto during the riots last year. They were working together. Either it is their strategic split, so that after the first round of the general elections, they come together and they create an impression that before the elections, our votes were split. Now they come together, we can now defeat. But the truth anyway is when former President Uhuru Kenyatta noticed that Gachagua is running away with the mountain using his party DCP, and had started trying to control the current and future politicians from the mountain, he decided to walk out and revive his old juggernaut, the Jubilee, to use to counter Gachagua. Political rivalry in a region
Jubilee has been in existence for quite too long.
It's more bitter. Yeah, it was almost moribund. And I think you need to notice a few events before that. The first event was the resignation of its Secretary General, Raphael Tuju. Then forward, a new one was not appointed, but immediately there was a relaunch, and a very prominent relaunch, presenting Matiang'i as the front runner and flag bearer. Remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta has no chance of being president one more time. But he has a family he needs to take care of the way Moi took care of him. He wants to put in power a person he can leave a will that makes sure you take care of my family as we go forward. That is another aspect to that. But clearly anybody can see from anywhere that Rigathi was going too fast. And as soon as Uhuru relaunched Jubilee, Rigathi has slowed down very drastically. It also points to a fact that either he was being facilitated by Uhuru Kenyatta, or Uhuru Kenyatta was giving him the necessary support that he needed to control the mountain, which he has since thought is not necessary for a man like Rigathi Gachagua. That is what is happening in Kenya today. But again, that only makes it easier for President William Ruto to consolidate his team and build them. Because in that division of Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua, definitely there will be disgruntlement from various leaders left and right side. There are also those ones who will not understand what is going on and would rather be in the stable UDA.
Okay, so what now remains, Dr. Because now, if based on what he said, so there's a split and there's a raid, Matiang'i remains perhaps just a single candidate. So who is the running mate here? If Kalonzo joins and Wamalwa is also gone, so now what remains for the opposition?
Anyway, Kalonzo joining is a matter of time.
But people thought he was going to do that a long time ago.
Yeah, I said, again, even you know that.
Yeah.
2 days in a political atmosphere is such a long time, 2 days. Even 1 day, sleeping, waking up, people meeting and agreeing on one, two, three. What I understand about the official opposition, I see them looking at Dr. Matiang'i as a threat, and basically the former deputy president, it makes him very uncomfortable. You know, what I understood about Jubilee, Matiang'i being the deputy party leader and being their candidate, you know, they were saying they will decide. As principals, they will decide who's going to be the flag bearer of those principles. That is Rick G. So I'm not sure whether Rick G can go to the ballot. I'm still not sure of that. And then Kalonzo, then Wamalwa. But in there, I don't think Kalonzo has a big problem with Matiang'i, but the one, quote unquote, who poses as the prefect of the official position is Rick G, who comes out like, I know how this works. I know the government will want to ouster. I know it. You know, it comes from a knowing point to informing these principles in that. And you know, these principles also look at him in terms of, you have tested this thing, and I think what he's saying, it is the tool. They believe that he has these tools to make them maybe ouster the president, but I don't think they can work together and decide on one principle. Even without the president trying to separate them, on their own, they can't work together. Because there's no way out you'll work with me when I'm politically, intellectually, in so many ways, you're a threat. So you see, even in their meetings, Dr. Matiang'i does not come out as a, you know, he's being, you know, him himself is a brand. I've seen what he can do. But now he's suppressed in this official opposition, courtesy the former deputy president. He's suppressed in there. He just comes out like anybody else, and you see in their meetings, even if they are standing, you see even in this front page, is he there? He can't be allowed. He has to. He's not there. Is to just suppress him and make sure that his opinion is not known. I don't think whether you have ever seen Dr. speaking in any, you know, when you go to any lesson forum, and then these principles are there, you know, this is Dr. Matiang'i. It is just scientifically organized like that. Not that he has nothing to offer. It has been planned. It's not in the program.
We all
he
know
can show face.
We all know the power of absence.
He can show face. But even the time they are holding their press and whatever, his opinion is suppressed. Is suppressed because Rick G is so threatened by him in such a way that, you see, and I don't think Rick G is comfortable with Honorable Kalonzo, but Rick G does not know who Kalonzo is very well. He is soft-spoken, you know. He has not known him in the terms of firmness. He knows any time Kalonzo is going away to the government. He is only trying to reconcile himself, and soon he'll be standing alone. That is Rick G and his DCP. And when he's going to stand alone, the people of Mount Kenya cannot want to associate themselves. You know, the Mount Kenya, they are in very familiar space, not being in government. You see, that is still a problem in the mountain. It is silently a big problem, and now they are grasping. They want to encourage, let's say they want to encourage people from Nyanza when they are giving these names. When they are giving these names, Dr. Matiang'i, when they are giving these names to encourage the people from Nyanza that they can be with them. But in the real sense, there's an underlying problem that they are not used. You see the way Kenya is unfamiliar space? You know, like right now.
Let's take a break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I go on? You know, I'm stuck in a moment.
Ivo, whatever you may cost. Okay. We take a break. We'll be right back.
Can't you, like, try it on yourself first?
A doctor never treats himself. Don't you know that?
Captain! Honey, bring the satchel. Captain! Captain! What happened? Aortic dissection. Just came out of nowhere during class.
Ready for cutoff. Reduce flow. Reducing flow. Aortic cutoff. Resume flow. Resuming flow. It's under control. We've got him in intensive care now.
Dr. Ma, how is Jinqiang? Is he safe now?
Come back. So for the sake of fairness, Dr. you are stuck here.
Yeah, it was just so abrupt, and then
Go ahead. Continue. 1 minute.
I'm trying to recap what I was trying to. I was talking about the former deputy president. Really is not. I don't think Dr. Matiang'i is his favorite, because clearly Dr. Matiang'i is not in a position to be manipulated by his dominance. The way, right now, the former deputy president wants to make it look like Mount Kenya is in his pocket, which I don't think so. And you see, he has created, fake it until you make it. That is one of the phrases that makes politicians sometimes make some remarks, believe in it, swim in it, like this 1 term, 2 term, those kind of things that are going on. Somebody conceptualizes this thing and look at it as a reality. So the Rick G looks at Mount Kenya to be right in his pocket. He can remove from here, put here, from here, and scatter or gather, but I don't think he has that power in the mountain. And what is going to happen, the official position even before even the heading in the Star that Ruto is looking for Wamalwa and Kalonzo, it is bound to break and the DCP to stand on its own. And I don't know when it breaks, how the Daktari and being the deputy party leader of Jubilee, how is going to fall. Remember, Kenya is in a new unfamiliar space right now. Kenya is in a new unfamiliar space, having lost Raila in this matrix. We are not used to this space. And then there's a lot of confusion, even within the ODM itself. This I think would say is so sudden.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that, because ODM is also celebrating 20 years, and what has that founding members have been invited. But Crispus, what about coalitions? We are headed to a platform where we are going to be having tea, friends meeting in the evening, friends shaking hands there, and coalitions are going to be formed. People are going to spread because of the political interests. What are we looking at?
And as I earlier said, our politics has been guided by how Raila conducted his politics, where if you go back to NDP, KANU, we come to LDP and NAC, we came to formation of ODM, we came to Grand Coalition Government. It's all been about coalition and alliances. Kenya is a country where voting is about blocks. It's not about manifestos, it's not about how good looking you are, it's about what connects with your people. And as we may want to dismiss Gachagua as somebody who may not have the Mount Kenya vote now, but he has a lot of influence. People listen to him. People look for him for what do you know that we don't know? Remember, he was in the government for 2 years. So there are many things that he saw there that Uhuru Kenyatta was not able to tell his people when he was president. But Gachagua has now the courage to tell you guys, whatever we were told by the former president, it is true. He warned us, don't elect this person because of this and this and this. Now that I was there as deputy, I want to confirm what Uhuru Kenyatta never told you. So that kind of narrative he's building
that automatically makes Uhuru Kenyatta the king then.
Exactly. So what it is doing is that it is not making Gachagua the king, but it's actually making Uhuru Kenyatta the king. So today, if Uhuru Kenyatta stands up and says something, or doesn't say something, the mountain is very keen to listen, even what he doesn't say. But who is pushing that is Rigathi Gachagua, because of the many things he keeps saying. You know, I did this, he did this to me, on all those. So they are working together, but not together. But at the end of the day, the Mount Kenya, a region I come from.
To whose advantage?
The one thing I'll tell you, the mountain does not decide 1 or 2 years before the election. It decides a few nights before the election. That is when they will decide. And they will not come and make huge pronouncement. A word will be sent out and it will be given the direction. So Gachagua is doing his work. It's a theater.
Okay.
And his role is very clear. You must continue speaking to the mountain. Because God has gifted you with the ability to speak what other men cannot speak. So his dismissal of Matiang'i is not to make him look inferior, is to reinforce Matiang'i. If you want to be on this table, you must demonstrate what you are bringing on this table. Go back to your people and reinforce your voting bloc. Come back with your party. That's what he was insisting. Come back with your own party. Come back with your own vehicle.
There was a contest there of having a party from the other region or have a national party with his Jubilee.
Remember, with Kenyan politics is about blocks. Wiper is Ukambani. ODM is the Luo Nyanza coast part of Western Kenya. DCP and now Jubilee are being carved out as Mount Kenya political parties. We have all these formations coming. DAP now is a Luya party. All these formations. So if in Kisii are being told, what do you have, which vehicle? Don't go to forming a government the way Mount Kenya went to form UDA government without their own vehicle. Look at where we are. So Matiang'i is being encouraged. Go and come with your own vehicle. Whether that vehicle will be Jubilee at the end of the day, it is still going to benefit Uhuru Kenyatta and family, because even if he has 30 members of parliament in government, he has influence over...
Dr. I wanted to say something, but in 1 minute, he really avoided that aspect of coming with the political party from Kisii.
That I don't want to really confirm that, because, okay, as you said, I can agree that Jubilee, we know it as a Mount Kenya party. And now what I want to disagree a bit with him and his opinion, it's that, you know, what the former deputy president has done is to create an impression. And it truly is intimidated by the power of Dr. Matiang'i. So he doesn't trust him, and he's not going to be able to manipulate him once in case the one term comes to be true. So Matiang'i is not that person you will manipulate. And so he finds him not dependable. And trying to have a say, let's say in Mount Kenya, there's a big group of them who have independent way of looking at looking at the political atmosphere.
Let me bring in Omwami. I mean, let's just face it. Because you're having different men who are going to have meetings later on, and women, of course. Then it means the coalitions which are going to be formed moving forward, in the absence of Raila Odinga, is going to be a unique one. What do you see?
Yeah, there's a lot of interest in the next formation of coalitions. A lot of interest. And that is why most of these leaders are ambitious. They can't tell the people what they think is good for them. It's about what they want to benefit from it. So these coalitions are going to be formed, but most of them are not honest. Let me cogitate clearly on this matter of coalitions. First, I know there is the last, I don't know, it was Star, which claimed that Reggie he will not contest as a president because, of course, after impeachment you cannot do that. Now he wants the 50% from the coalition he's going to support. Now, when you talk of 50% from the coalition by forming the government, what are you trying to show other Kenyans? this is something that everybody has been discussing. Where are you going to live Coast people? Where are you going to live Turkana people when you take 50%? And when you, of course, such a leader, when he decides to take like 50%, he'll give to his own cronies, and he'll be in business in the government. Yes, because I know there is a time when I was pushing for a certain tender in Syria board. Then by then he was still a deputy president. He came there in person, and I lost that tender. And his man got that tender. That implies that we will not have a free space of trade or doing business with the government. So this is a person whom I feel like is mendicious, is not honest at all. Now, the new formations that are coming, I feel they should go back and discuss with the Kenyans the way Mwalimu Nyerere said that when you make a decision, listen careful to what Kenyans, what people, voters are saying.
Yeah.
Mwalimu Nyerere said that, and it has gone through the social media reviving what after Suluhu was being sworn in and bulldozing to that election. So Kenyans are very careful on most of these things. And right now, I applaud Kenyans on this because they don't keep quiet. They'll discuss what you want to do positively. So to me, the formation which is coming, Victor, there will be formation of personal interest, mostly.
Personal interest?
Yes, personal interest.
Mwalimu, what do you see? When, of course, coming back to ODM at 20, let me just bring it back home. We are seeing ODM taking a subtle backseat. And even the names of ODM members are not being mentioned now. I don't know whether it is strategic, deliberate or not, but what are kind of the coalition features and platforms you are going to see? What can you foresee from where you sit?
First, let me tell you something about the Rigiji claims to numbers and partnerships. The Rigiji claims are based on the fact that they looked at other communities and said the Luyas are only found in Western Kenya, the Luos are only found in Nyanza, and then took the rest to be his people who had voted. Number two, if we were to allow him to have the 50% of the votes, I can assure you that his candidate will not win, because that is not how the population in Kenya is distributed by communities. Number two, I do not understand what makes Rigiji thinks that he controls the Mount Kenya votes. Then what does Jubilee control? What does the other players in government who are from Mount Kenya control? Rigiji should look at himself pre the last general election. He could not even garner a handful of MPs to vote him as the deputy president to President William Ruto. He admits that President William Ruto chose him despite the fact that Kindiki had beaten him. He could not garner the numbers from Mount Kenya, even during his impeachment. Why does he now think that he controls the votes from Mount Kenya? Worst of all, people unite behind you for a joint cause, an acceptable purpose. So it means for him to control that vote, he must be a candidate. He cannot sit outside the pitch and want to control the players. It is not possible. So Rigiji is just conning people from Mount Kenya that I am your leader and you all follow me and we are going to form a government. It is not going to work. The person who is going to control the Mount Kenya vote is a person who is going to be on the ballot from Mount Kenya, either as a presidential candidate or as a deputy presidential candidate. That is all that is going to work. So all this will end somewhere here. Now, coming back to ODM, you know, ODM in the past, before the unfortunate demise of Raila Odinga, was synonymous with the Luo, and it was synonymous with Raila Odinga, ODM. Now, one person is out. That ODM will split is not something we need to even speculate. It is already split. Because when you hear Ruth Odinga and James Orengo talk differently from Oburu Odinga and the other people, then you know it's already split. But their vote may not split because of the past experiences of their voting blocks. They are going to vote according to what will serve them well. Today, I cannot say there is any particular person from the ODM fold who is capable of mounting a presidential campaign to become the president. It is not there. So they will have to look for where their bread is buttered most and join in and move forward. But their experiences is all for everyone to see. For example, I have heard James Orengo and Ruth Odinga talking very well of Kalonzo, that this is the man we should follow going forward because he stood with us. First of all, by saying he stood with us, I can remember Raila Odinga pleading with Kalonzo for weeks to join him. And when he joins, his demand was that he must be the running mate. That was already enough favor for joining in to make you the running mate. Number two, this is the same Kalonzo that in 2007, when Raila Odinga was desperate for somebody to give him a push to convince Kibaki and his handlers to respect democracy and accept that Raila Odinga beat him. Kalonzo bolted from Naivasha where they had the meeting that he was coming to a TV show. And what did he do? He joined Kibaki and he was appointed instantly the DP. And that, the ODM followers I have not forgotten. But remember, as late as weeks before Raila Odinga died, Raila Odinga had written to Kalonzo Musyoka and told him, Kalonzo, join us as a founder member at the ODM at 20 in Mombasa. Instead of Kalonzo responding in writing, Kalonzo responded at a press conference and told him he will not come, but sarcastically wished him well. So that is not forgotten. And more so, as we approach the elections, as the opposition names their presidential candidates, you will see the raffle that will be in the political fields. Because you see, now people are happy to be in the opposition.
Yeah.
But they will stop being happy when they see who will be carrying the flag of the opposition. And let me tell Kenyans, Rigiji went to the ballot with President William Ruto. After realizing that President William Ruto does not have large numbers to counter the ones he had suddenly amassed, he rebelled against him. So who is Kalonzo with slightly over 1 million votes? Who is Matiang'i with slightly over 1 million votes? He will control them, and if he doesn't control them, it will go the Ruto Rigiji way. Because he will want to control them. He will want to say, remove A from here, put him there, remove so-and-so from here, put him there, give me this contract to my person. If you don't give me, we are going to the streets, we are going to say this, because he is very lucky. He is very lucky. He has the benefit of being a very good orator. Rigiji is one person who can speak even if you don't like what he's saying, you will still listen, because it is a song. It is a poem. It is poetry. So you will listen. But that poetry is very divisive. It's very partisan.
Okay.
It's very selfish.
Christmas, who's smiling silently somewhere? Of course not you. Of course not you. Who is smiling?
I think obviously Rigathi is smiling wherever he is, because those who said he will be forgotten in 2 weeks are the ones who are surprised a year later we are still discussing Rigathi. It's exactly 1 year since he was impeached.
Yeah.
And I think the one person who is smiling all the way to the bank is that person who will inherit whatever will be cultivated and put together either by Rigathi or the United Opposition or whatever formation that will be, or the ones who will benefit from the fallout of this United Opposition. So what is happening, we are galvanizing around two forces.
Yeah.
The Ruto ODM force and then the United Opposition. But a breakaway of either of those formations will benefit either. So there must be one person who says, this is my bet, I'll bet on this. And I see Uhuru Kenyatta positioning himself somewhere I see William Ruto positioning himself somewhere. But we are also all agreeing the possibility of Riggy being a flag bearer is impossible. But in terms of who will lead the Uhuru-driven coalition is what we yet to see. Possibility of Kalonzo is there. Other names coming from Mount Kenya, I don't see. At the moment, I think Mount Kenya has accepted the possibility of not having a presidential or deputy president candidate. For 24 years, they were out of power. They can last another 24.
Okay. I want to ask this general question. I have like around 7 minutes. Who would appeal to the Luo vote? Kalonzo Musyoka or Uhuru Kenyatta? I don't know from which angle you look at it. Wafula?
Yeah, both of them, I think. And you know, when Kalonzo went to Luo Nyanza to mourn his best friend Raila, Mama Ida actually gave out his heart response to Kalonzo, that Kalonzo has stood with Baba for some years in 2 elections supporting Baba. So he has a soft heart in Luo Nyanza. Though his tainted name of Watermelon will still affect him, that Luo Nyanza people will not trust him fully. One, when the ODM was being formed, right now they are celebrating. By that time it was ODM Kenya. When Kalonzo told Manzo, run away with the party, then Manzo disappeared with the certificate of the party, leaving Baba and the Luo Nyanza at a crossroad. Now it came up again to form ODM now, which has survived all these years. So that one also will give a tainting name to Kalonzo in Luo Nyanza. But when you think of Uhuru Kenyatta, though they were competitors with Baba, but immediately he was discussing with Raila privately until when they came to formalize as a collusion. So, and after that, Uhuru stood with Baba to the end. And you can see when he was mourning Baba, he literally stayed back in Nyanza even after burial. My friend, I think you can confirm that. He stayed and remained in Nyanza after burial. That's showing that he has lost a friend. And to me, as an investigator, I felt like it has touched the people of Luo Nyanza, that through this man loved Baba. So somebody who can go to Luo Nyanza and receive a warm reception between the two is Uhuru Kenyatta. But all in all, politics is funny. Now we are heading to 27th this by-elections. 27th by-election, which is going to be a litmus test most of the leaders in those areas we are going to have by-elections. Now, like in Luo Nyanza, now it is a checkpoint for the chairman of ODM, who is Gladys Wanka. He must deliver that from the other people. And now you can see the contest is becoming stiffer. People are moving with machetes and stones, and you can't just move and, anyhow leave that place right now. Equally the same with the Coast region, also even in Western, we can see that. But let us see after 27, and we'll see the person who has emerged and controlled the people. That one will give us the way forward. But collusions, this time around we'll have opposition, weak coalition opposition.
Okay.
Yes.
What did you say they're going to have?
We are going to have a weaker coalition.
Coalitions can be formed any time, and they're the boardroom affairs.
Yeah, they can be formed any time by the strength. I really got it very clear. The strength. You can always form a coalition, but what is its strength?
Why do you say so? What will be missing in those coalitions?
there are weak points. You know, as I told you earlier, we are in a bit unfamiliar space.
Yeah.
And as it's, you know what forms the strength of any coalition? The strength is the people involved. Now, if the people involved have maybe one trust issues, one, and then the other one, they are like this political space. They have not featured very well with the majority of the Kenyans. So that is what makes you a weaker coalition. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want us to take a quick break. And we come back. ODM is celebrating 20 years of existence. And the acting party leader, Oburu Odinga, yesterday said that founding members will attend, including President William Ruto. That is what is quite prominent. We don't know any other guest who will be attending. I want us to take a look at that. President Ruto's presence during that dinner in Mombasa, White Sands. You don't have an invite?
Me?
Yes.
I'm a member of UDA, not
You're not a founding member?
Your boss is going to be there.
My boss? I don't walk around.
So you could join. you should join.
Yeah.
I don't walk around with my boss, but we talk.
I got an invite.
You got an invite?
Yeah, and I'm a Ford Kenya officials.
Yeah. But what is
and
ODM
I'm not
celebrating?
a founder member.
Commemorating 20 years of existence.
Yeah.
Just existence. Really?
There's a lot more.
You know, we form political parties to take power. We once formed we once formed the Jubilee Alliance. You remember it?
Yes.
The one that drove Uhuru and President William Ruto to power.
Yeah.
And they did take power. Thereafter, we formed the Jubilee. Then it took power again. Then next they formed the now UDA. They took power. ODM formed 20 years ago. Never took power any day. What are they celebrating?
Let's take a break.
Thank you.
Let's take a break. All right, it's 8 sharp. Welcome back. We are on the final stretch. Now, Dr. Mwalimu Doyo, you are saying something that ODM at 20, what's going to happen there? Because from the list of guests invited, of course, one of them is President William Ruto.
Correct.
Okay. And it's a celebration that is going to be taking a few days in Mombasa, and then now founders dinners in Mombasa, White Sands in Mombasa. But then now, with the presence of President William Ruto there, as a founding member, yes. And remember what he sometimes said during the burial of Jojo Duor's burial, when Senator Sifuna pushed a bit harder.
Yes.
What did the president say?
He
if
said
you remember?
It's more ODM than Sifuna.
And if Sifuna was not careful?
He would be right in there.
Yeah, to end up pole.
The truth of the matter, and you can see, UDA is not very active. And I can almost guess that President William Ruto may not run on a UDA ticket. Yes. He can easily run on ODM. Because now as we stand, he's the senior-most ODM member, if you forget about the things that have taken place after that forward. Yes. You remember the old team that went into the 1997 election 2 years after ODM was formed. President William Ruto was a co-principal there, was a member of the Pentagon. And if you remember those videos, the person who remained at KICC fighting the Kibaki handlers was President William Ruto with Ababu Namwamba standing behind him.
As a secretary.
And he fought like he was the presidential candidate. And that is the ODM founder members cannot forget. Only these GNCs who came the other day can forget or may not even know. But those guys know that. So if President William Ruto declares today that he wants to run on an ODM ticket, in any case, nobody in ODM has declared that he wants to run for the presidency, they will welcome him. In any case, who doesn't want a party with a clear presidential candidate with very good chances of winning? Who? Those people will want, because it makes it also easy for the people contesting seats in ODM strongholds to have somebody to praise and another one to attack. That is how Kenyan politics is. You look for the boogeyman to blame for everything, attack at will, and also the messiah to keep praising at all times and praise at will, even for things he may have not done. So that is how Kenyan politics. So if President William Ruto will declare that he's running on ODM ticket, people will be very happy. I will be happy too. So that is what is most likely to happen. But and I think it will make the next ODM celebration worth it, because now they are only celebrating existence, not achievements. They have no serious achievements to celebrate, because political parties are formed to form governments thereafter. It is like when you do a church, that church is meant to take people to the kingdom of God. If that church is not taking people to God, it is not worth it. If a political party is not taking people to government, it is not worth it. Many political parties that were formed way after ODM took their party leaders to presidency. So ODM will be happy to have President William Ruto as their candidate, and ODM will die knowing that they have once made a president in President William Ruto in 2027 and beyond.
Crispus.
I totally agree, because PNU, it may not be there, but it formed an administration, TNA, URP, Jubilee, UDA, now NAC. We have so many parties to speak about, but the unfortunate thing is ODM has always been either in the opposition or a part of a coalition in government. So it's important that with the exit of Raila, they need to find that one person they can put there who can be able to take them and secure power. And I think William Ruto makes a very good candidate. There are those voices that are now emerging within ODM saying we have an opportunity for a party leader or a party flag bearer to be able to lead that movement towards winning the presidency. The possibility of William Ruto winning the presidency through ODM is out there to be seen. We have a lot of things to be able to weigh in terms of the numbers that he needs to bring forth so that he can be able to win that. And as we have this by-election that is coming in the next 2 weeks, it will give us an indication. I think by-elections that always come a year before the election help us to weigh or be a test in terms of how superior political parties are. But importantly to see is that the way the united opposition has allowed itself to place candidates, one candidate against the government or Kenya Kwanza in some of these constituencies, to be able to give each member of the united opposition an opportunity to marshal their influence and power without each competing over each or crowding the space of competition. So that also gives indication that there is a possibility that the united opposition has a better plan as compared to other previous times where coalitions have been formed a few months to an election without having enough time to build culture, form a good relationship, get to know each other, understand each other. As we have said rightfully, Rigathi appears to be the one, commandeering people around here. But at some point, he needs to be put down and told, look, yes, you may have a lot of influence where you come from, but we have a whole country to run. the population you govern is probably 20-25% of the country. We have another 75% of the nation that has an interest to speak about. So therefore, you need to tone down in terms of your demands. So those are some of the things this longer period of courting will allow conversations of that kind to happen. And probably expectations will be better managed given the time we'll have towards the elections.
Umame, there are two things here. Politicians will play their role, but there is one person we should not forget, Wajiko is the voter. It will be interesting to see how the leaders will go out there to convince or to campaign for the ODM members and supporters to support President William Ruto's re-election on ODM ticket.
You see, Victor, before I respond on that, let me take my friend's view in a different way. That ODM stand to celebrate and stand tall to celebrate their 20 years in existence. One, ODM has been in power during Kibaki's time. ODM has in power during Uru's time. ODM has in power during Ruto's time. They start to celebrate, my friend.
It's an achievement.
Yes, it's an achievement. There is no any political party in the world, and I will repeat it, there is no any political party in the world that has survived like ODM from the opposition immediately to the government. Even US, when you go there, Democrats and Republicans, when you are in the opposition, you are fully in the opposition. And you keep quiet until next general election. But in the ODM, immediately after election, the Babas traverse some crude ways and find himself and his people in the government. One, I want to tell you that during this time, Baba has been in the opposition. He has made a lot of development in Luo Nyanza than even in Central. Yes, than even in Central. In Central, you can just see some few roads, yes, but when you see in Luo Nyanza, several roads have been put up than even Central. And also in Coast and other places where the president has been. Okay. And I remember when Moi was in the power for so many years, his community were more poorer than when he left. Yes. So sometimes when somebody is in power, his people do not benefit fully. And this one I can tell you, the Mount Kenya people have been in power. Kibaki, 10 years, Uhuru, 10 years. But when you find a poor person, a poorest person, you'll find a Kikuyu. And in Kikuyu land.
Oh, no.
Yes. And I don't know how that matrix plays. Right now, President Ruto is in the presidency. But recently, you find so many people demonstrating from Rift Valley.
Okay.
That one is something that I don't know how it works. But when you see in Luo Nyanza, when Raila was there, you could not see demonstration burning roads. No.
Really?
Yes. Even the GNC did not burn roads in Luo Nyanza. They said it is an issue, that is an issue from Central Mount Kenya. You burn your roads, we are not burning ours.
Okay. I think you've not answered my question when it comes to the numbers and how it was going to be. The leaders, how they're going to now to convince the voters to change their mindset. Much as, you know, the two gentlemen have said that fine, perhaps it's going to be happening, but then now that voter is going to be also be told that, you know, we have to move from here to there. Baba was able to do that. People would say that Baba Mesema, that was it.
Yeah.
So this time around, how is it going to be?
Baba Mesoma Katiba, I don't need to read it again. But right now, with the pricing of Gen Z, this is the first test we are going to see in next general election, because Gen Z regroup in a different way. Yeah, and they communicate in...
I would wish to answer that one.
They communicate in a different way.
Okay.
I also don't agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I wish to answer that.
Okay.
The upcoming of Gen Z in the next general election.
They're not,
it will
taking their votes right now. Voter registration is happening at their...
No. You can't say that. You can't say that. And sometimes you find somebody, even children in your house, they lure you to vote for somebody in your house and they don't vote.
Okay.
They'll come to your house and sing, Victor for governor, Victor for governor, and you find yourself voting for Victor.
About Gen Zs and registration, the complaint they had.
Let's go back to the numbers, first of all, on how it's going to be.
And I would like to say something about the Gen Zs and registration to vote slightly, because I do mix with them a lot. And the expectations they had is that maybe they had a few registration centers and they didn't have money to go. The excuse is they didn't have money to go to the centers to register. So my thoughts are the government the IBC was supposed to increase this number of centers. You know, Gen Zs, they come out as the jobless, the kids in the jobless corner. So that is something that IBC should consider the next time they're holding any registrations, because the registration centers were very few. They didn't have money to carry them to the registration centers to register, so they did not. And then about the Wanjiku, you know, what is ailing this country is joblessness. You know, that there are those obvious things that Wanjiku expects on the ground. Affordable living standards and affordable food. You know, the economy is so, I would say you cannot define it, because today I'm buying bread at this amount, tomorrow I'm buying this, it goes back, the fuel, everything is just so unpredictable. Any presidential candidate, if you are going to lure Wanjiku into voting for you, you have to give answers like answers in the health sector. You have to provide answers in the education sector. You have to provide answers to the joblessness. You have to come up with new ideas. How are we going to reduce the joblessness in this country? How are we going to make this life affordable? How am I going to go to hospital and be treated without drama? How are my children going to go to school? How are they going to be given their help loans without any drama? I think any presidential candidate in that manifesto and implementable. You know, there's a way you can have something that is something that is theoretical and something that is implementable and something that, yes, Kenyans see, yes, this presidential candidate is going to give us answers. To go straight, not to go around. You know, Ukabila, what, corruption. If you want to talk about corruption, what are you going to do about procurement processes? What are you going to do about the leaders using proxy accounts to do tenders that have been advertised and to disguise themselves with companies that are registered in their relatives or their cronies? What is going to... Direct injection, direct dose. If you talk about corruption, what? You cannot say corruption in this country. What are we going to do, like... to get our people getting jobs without, what niches are you going to use? What specifications, what specs are you going to give for those fresh university students who want to come in and see an advert? Adverts are going to talk about 8 years experience. So somebody who has just left campus, where is this person going to be until 8 years of experience to get a job? Any presidential candidate who's going to bring out these things clearly. How am I going to go to the market and buy my onions? How am I going to transport them with ease? That is the person that Wanjiku is going to listen to, because I think the country is sick and tired. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody's asking here. I found that message, Mwalimu. Jackson Odanga, that Mwalimu Doyo should attend. As simple as such. Why should I attend? Should attend. The ODM at 20. Jackson Odanga. Mwalimu Doyo should attend.
I have no good reason to attend that, because I am not a member.
You're not a founder member.
I am.
Yes.
I am not.
But you can be invited.
I used to be a member of ODM. But they showed me a lot of bad manners, so I walked out. And I don't think I changed my positions because people have died. I have known people who fight. The day somebody dies, they start saying how he was an angel.
I think for me it should start from invitation.
So
be invited first, then refuse to attend.
No.
So are we talking about both of them? Have you been invited, or you are not invited?
Me as an ordinary member, and ordinary
I
members,
think the problem is the invitation.
They just inform you that we have this, so find your way there. That's that's what.
Very true.
You have been invited, though?
Yeah, I don't know who sent the card, but I received the card.
Okay.
But I don't think they would invite me, especially when Gladys Wanga is the chair.
Oh, she doesn't like you.
When we had Madaraka Day, there was a list of the sons and daughters of Homa Bay. And she removed my name from that list.
So it's a personal issue with not the ODM at 20. We should be able to create boundaries.
No.
Is the issue ODM at 20? Is the issue Gladys Wanga?
By the way, I have told you that I would know to go whether she invited me or not. So this is just an additional information. Okay. It's not the reason I am.
All right. So I think you've answered, Jackson. Okay. So now the question is, so what will be the body language after that meeting? Fine, the dinner is ended. It's Sunday, Monday, back to work. What will be the body language, politically speaking?
No, I think what is happening now, President William Ruto is bonding with the ODM membership. Because, in politics in Kenya, there has to be a coalition of political parties, but in the background, of course, it is a coalition of communities. That coalition must be bonded from time to time again and again until it holds. And that is what is going to be happening there. Now that Kalonzo Musyoka had already made it public that he will not be attending, and from where I sit, he's the major opponent of President William Ruto. I don't see any other. I don't see any other serious opponent unless the opposition merges into one thing. And even if they did, it does not give them an
And what if he appears there?
Who?
Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka.
He will be welcome because there are many people in ODM who are his sympathizers who will welcome him.
Now that's
with
the
open arms.
body language thereafter.
Yes. They will be welcome. But I can tell you, there will be tension there. But politicians are also very interesting people. These people really, really know how to make you feel that they are with you. Do you remember that in 2007, when Kalonzo Musyoka was faced between Raila Odinga and Mwai Kibaki, he chose Mwai Kibaki. But when Mwai Kibaki died, he never even took a vote there. Recently, he derogatory told Raila Odinga will not even attend that. But when Raila Odinga died, he emerged with 100 heads of cattle. What do you think? Politicians are masters of acting, of drama, because they are now the person people are looking for most is a Luo voter. And Kalonzo Musyoka is ready to swallow any pride, to swallow anything, to withdraw any statements he have ever made against Raila Odinga before to get them. Similarly, is Uhuru Kenyatta, the very man who refused to take Raila Odinga to the mountain. But after only 2 weeks, he has already taken Matiang'i to the mountain. So politicians are like that. They make you believe what they themselves don't believe because that is what earns them your support.
Okay. So I'm still not so sure, and I have to put this clearly, not so sure. But what if we had Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the incumbent William Ruto all together on that dinner? What would be the discussion on Sunday or the front pages on local dailies, Christmas?
Most likely we'll have a similar headline to the one we are seeing right now of the Star, where Ruto targets opposition, Kalonzo Wamalwa. We'll probably have headlines suggesting a possible alliance between Uhuru, Kalonzo, Ruto, Kalonzo. Those kind of narratives will be at play. But importantly are the conversations that will happen, that will not be on print. That is what we need to be more concerned about, because there are certain players of this political movement called ODM that have a lot of influence in terms of how the politics of the day will play. We remember ODM has already demanded for a deputy president candidate position. Okay, so yes, even if they give Ruto the president, the flag bearer, one of their own who is a member of ODM, who has been with ODM, probably Joho or Gladys Wanga, might be vouching for themselves to be the deputy president candidate. So those are some of the intakes and conversations that will be taking place during that ceremony. And that is what we need to look out for, not the optics. The optics may mislead us, but what conversations will be happening is what we need to look out for and see where and where they'll take it from there. The next big meeting, for example, December 12th Jamhuri event, who will be invited, who will be given the space to speak where Raila has been always occupying. That is a person we need to look out for and see how this conversation going forward. So we need to watch out the events after this celebration, the events after the by-elections, and see where this country in terms of direction is going forward, and position yourself if you are seriously seeking political power as a party or an individual. Yeah.
A very salient point there.
And also, I think it will also depend with the reception of these leaders in that meeting.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if they give you a warm reception, you can at least have a fruitful discussion. But if they give you a minor reception in that meeting, definitely you'll not end up. They'll not end up having a joint discussion to discuss the way forward of the next government. So it depends with the reception in ODM at 20. Yes.
Okay, Daktari, malizie.
You ask something?
Yes. What would the discussion thereafter if the three gentlemen attended? And here we are. He said we should not look at the optics. Something that will be, the undertone. Chini ya maji.
I want to agree with him. It depends with the reception. Like, the environment will be dictated.
Yeah.
The atmosphere during that dinner will be dictated like how the warm welcome. Like, you can invite me somewhere, maybe for me to get there and for you to intimidate me or to show your power over me. But if you invite me and you look like you are genuine and then you embrace me, so it means even my defense mechanisms, I'll be forced to drop it. So if they're going to be welcomed very well, and I'm sure that is where, during that dinner, we are going to get news that we don't, that could be a bit unpopular, but it's something that will vouch a new beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have to wrap it up there. The question is how it's going to be moving forward, because now we're expecting a lot of activities that is going to be taking place in Mombasa until the final program is already out, and that was given yesterday by the acting party leader, that is Oburu Odinga. The function which will be happening in Mombasa, of course, somebody said that it's just a matter of time, all right? It's just a marker in time. And so it is also a renewal of our oath to defend democracy. That's according to Dr. Buru. It's a new renewal of oath to defend democracy, protect freedoms, and continue to fight for equality and social justice. Let's wait and see how that will go. All right, Crispus Wathimba, engineer, thank you so much for joining us. He's a political analyst. He's been here with us for so many years. Asante sana. Dr. Evelyn Ogendo, she's a political analyst. She's also a doctor by profession, by the way. Good one. Daktari, thank you so much. Omwami Wafula Mutacho, asante for coming. He's the Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County. Asante sana, he's also a political analyst. And of course, Odoyo Wedo is a political analyst and a commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your valid company. Asante sana. And you as our viewer, thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Victor Lowe. Have a good morning. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Did you know that pneumonia is among the leading causes of death right here in Kenya? Join me, Winrus Kavengi, as we explore what exactly is pneumonia, What are the causes of pneumonia and how can pneumonia be prevented? Breath we take is a gift, but for millions around the world, that gift is under threat, especially right here in Kenya. A silent killer is claiming lives, young and old, rich and poor. It's not a new virus, neither is it a rare disease. This is pneumonia, and according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, pneumonia has been the leading cause of death in Kenyan hospitals for the past 5 years. In 2021, it claimed over 15,000 lives, and it is time to talk about it. The question that lingers most in our heads is, what exactly is pneumonia?
Pneumonia is a disease that affects the lungs, a condition where the lungs get inflamed and infected. There are many causes. We have bacterial causes, we have viral causes, we have fungal causes. And sometimes we classify pneumonia based on the cause. So we can say it's bacterial pneumonia, we can say it's viral pneumonia, we can say it's fungal pneumonia. Those are the main causes.
Symptoms of pneumonia include cough, fever, chills, and difficulty in breathing, which can be easily mistaken for a normal cold and can escalate within hours. However, in some cases, especially in remote areas and in children, delayed treatment can mean tragedy. According to Dr. Magada, pneumonia is diagnosed and treated based on the cause.
Depending on what we think is the likely cause of pneumonia, then we'll decide. For example, if it is bacterial pneumonia, we then have to give antibiotics. If it is viral pneumonia, then we have to give antiviral agents. If it is fungal pneumonia, then we have to give antifungal agents, and they're different. And also, even in the bacterial pneumonia, we have to give medication based on where we suspect the patient got the pneumonia. We have like 5 areas where pneumonia can be gotten from. If it is outside a health facility, we call that community-acquired pneumonia. Now, in community-acquired pneumonia, the approach is different when we are giving antibiotics. If the pneumonia is acquired within the health facility, and it's not a long-term care facility, we call that healthcare acquired pneumonia or health-associated pneumonia. Now, again, the approach is different. The health-associated pneumonia usually is more serious than community-acquired. Then we have ventilator-associated pneumonia. In ventilator-associated pneumonia, this is a pneumonia where a patient gets when they are intubated in ICU, and they're put on a respirator. Again, the approach for that on that treatment is different. And then we have aspiration pneumonia. Aspiration pneumonia happens especially in people who are unconscious and are not able to cough out things, so part of the gut contents get into the lungs. Again, in aspiration pneumonia, the approach in terms of treatment is different.
Kenya is fighting back, but this has also been met with its share of challenges.
The biggest challenge, like I said, is in the area of diagnosis. But once we are sure that it's pneumonia, The next challenge is on the available medication. Some of the medication that we need to use, for example, if you're talking about healthcare-associated pneumonia or ventilator-associated pneumonia, some of those are very expensive. And where insurance has an issue or there is no insurance, then the family has an issue in terms of affordability. We also need to then advise the family in terms of to avoid picking the infection from the patient or reinfecting the patient when the patient goes back to them upon discharge.
Pneumonia kills more children in Kenya than any other disease, and there are some risk factors that we need to consider as we strive to fight against pneumonia.
And the risk factors for pneumonia, age is one of them. You'll find that children under 2 years and adults, elderly, over 65, are more prone to getting pneumonia. Therefore, this is an age group we would target, for example, in making sure their environments are cleaner and free of infection if we can. Other risk factors, for example, smoking, tobacco smoking, is a risk factor. So smoking cessation is an important approach in prevention. In terms of wanting to improve immunity, because we know that immunosuppression is one major important risk factor. So one of the ways of improving immunity is a healthy diet, exercise, adequate rest. People must, we must embrace rest as part of a schedule. I know now we have very many targets, people wanting to work around the clock, but rest is an important aspect of building immunity. So that is an important thing. And then, of course, we must look at air quality. Air pollution plays a role in predisposing people to infections, to pneumonia especially. And so it's important that we improve our air quality, reduce pollution.
Remember, pneumonia is treatable, but know the signs and seek help early. With awareness, access to care, and community action, we can turn the tide. Pneumonia is preventable if we fight together.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. I'm standing in for my colleague, that is Vivian Degwa. And Tuesday means it's Health Tuesday, where we talk all matters health. And today we want to talk about functional movement vis-a-vis physiotherapy. And joining me in studio to talk about this is none other than Rogers Kitur. He is a physiotherapist. Welcome to the program,
Thank
Rogers.
you for having me, Mary.
Asante sana. So functional movement, physiotherapy, you know, but before we get into that, let's start by you just defining for us, what is functional movement? It sounds very obvious what functional movement is. Without functional movement, you and I would not have been here.
Exactly.
But just define for us what that means.
So basically functional movement means that it's just the normal movement, the common movements that we do assume in our everyday today life. So like for example, moving to pick up an item, shifting this cup, that is functional movement. Basically achieving a task, that is functional movement. Yes.
Okay, without which definitely we will not be healthy.
We will not, yeah. Of course.
So what is physiotherapy?
So physiotherapy is both an art and a science of moving, and I want to put it this way, that physiotherapy deals with your normal functions. Physiotherapy identifies the deficiencies in your normal movement and tries to address it, or rather restore you to your normal function. So that is basically the summary of physiotherapy.
Okay.
Yes.
And of course, there's a lot more to talk about in as far as physiotherapy is concerned. But let's get to the reasons as to why somebody might need physiotherapy. While it sounds like probably it's only for people who have injuries and all that, or who have had health issues, we'll be getting to the day-to-day, physical movement and how physiotherapy comes into play. But what are some of the conditions that can actually lead someone to needing physiotherapy?
So basically, all of us need physiotherapy. It is not just the patients who have physical deformities or other injuries or post-surgical cases. All of us need it, even us who are normal, we also need physiotherapy. So some of the common conditions that we see at our clinic, low back pain, that is very common, stroke, and the other post-surgical cases such as total knee replacement, total hip replacement. So all these cases present with physical challenges, and it is now a physiotherapist, or rather us physiotherapists, who are going to help you restore back your normal function. Yes.
So let's talk about stroke, for instance, because I can more or less say it's common.
Very common.
It's a common thing to happen, or a common condition. So how do you approach physiotherapy when it comes to somebody who has had stroke?
So stroke basically means you have had an event, or rather by definition, that there is an interruption in the supply of blood into your brain. And it can be in two types, either ischemic or hemorrhagic. So the most common one is ischemic, whereby up to about 85% of patients present with ischemic stroke. And ischemia basically means dead of a brain cell. So this happens when, let's say, an embolism or an emboli or a blood clot blocks a vessel that supplies into your brain. So a slight interruption leads to a stroke. Now, when it comes to the other one, the hemorrhagic, it means bleeding either into the brain or outside the brain tissue. So that one now will cause some impact, and it will present physically. Yes. So they present differently, and it's either you present with a left-sided stroke or the right-sided stroke. Yes, and there are so many causes of stroke. But the basic ones, of course, we know is high blood pressure, aneurysms. Yes.
Yeah, and what other conditions? Because I know apart from high blood pressure, there are other conditions that can actually lead to stroke.
Yeah. There are other conditions that actually may lead to stroke. For example, excessive bleeding when you encounter a trauma, so you can sustain a stroke. So we've seen people who are involved in accidents, and they bleed a lot into the brain tissue, and so, or even outside. Like if there is excessive bleeding, that means the blood going to the brain is reduced, and so you will experience hypoxia, and that one now will lead to ischemia in your brain.
Okay.
Yes.
So say somebody has experienced a stroke, and they're paralyzed on one side of the body. And let me give an example of, your leg, because I've seen sometimes somebody's dragging their leg and all that. How do you approach physiotherapy when it comes to rehabilitating such a person?
So basically, usually, if, for example, it affects your left side, it will be you will see the symptoms right from the left side of your face, to the arm, to the leg. Now, how we approach it is, first of all, we have to listen to your history. We have to do an assessment so that we can define the physical inabilities that you have sustained in the process. And then now we draw up, after, of course, we know our diagnosis is stroke, and then we draw a treatment plan for this particular condition. And then the way we will draw our treatment plan is, first of all, we have to set up a baseline for your ability, like, what can you do? Can you move this cup? Or you can't even lift a finger. So we have to define that first, the baseline, so that we can know, now this patient, we need to help them from sliding this cup to lifting the cup. And so we have to, first of all, assess you. And then after that now, we set our goals together, the patient and myself, so that the treatment becomes as interactive as possible, and so that you can also benefit. And then, of course, now I do an exercise prescription for you. We will see what you can do and what you can do, you cannot do. And then from there, from time to time, we will be doing an evaluation to see your progress. Yes, so basically that is it. And then there is something I almost forgot.
Yes.
Empowerment of the family members is also very important, because this client, we are not treating you in isolation. You exist in a community, and so we also have to empower the people around you so that they can know what is this condition, how do they expect you to behave, and how should they handle you when you behave this way. So that way we will be doing a holistic approach in terms of management of this particular client.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a holistic treatment that also involves a support system, which in most cases definitely is the family and the community.
Sure.
But apart from such conditions as stroke, which can actually lead to physical, can I say, injuries or inability to have functional movement, the day-to-day habits that people engage in, are there habits that we engage in that can actually cause us, to lose our functional movement, for that matter?
Yes, there are so many habits that we do, of course, without knowing, others knowingly, but just ignoring because the impact is too little. So we assume that, we will be okay. For example, sitting. Yes, sitting is one of the things that predispose people to so many conditions. Long sitting can bring you low back pain. It can predispose you to overweight because you are losing less energy and you are consuming a lot of energy. So the extra energies will be stored in terms of fat and all that. And of course, we know when you gain weight, it means that you are exerting excess pressure on your joints, on your muscles, and all the other ligaments in your body. So basically, a habit like long sitting is actually something that people need to watch. So when sitting, you need to put your body in a 90 degrees angle, that is your spine. And then in relation, of course, to your hip. And then the knees also have to assume a 90 degrees, and then the feet have to be flat. And then now, let's say for people who are using screens and all that, you have to adjust the screen so that it can be at the high level. Yes. And then you maintain the neutral, like your head has to be neutral. Yes. So that is one of the habits, the most common habits that predispose people to the most common condition, that is low back pain, because it is said that all of us must at one point experience low back pain, even as the experts.
Yeah.
Yes, because those are habits that we don't even, like, you don't realize that you are overdoing something. Yeah.
Like they say that sitting is the new smoking.
New smoking. Exactly.
Meaning that people are sitting too much or too long, for that matter.
Yes.
I mean, unlike previously, where people had to till the land for that, and work in the fields. So now we are working in the offices. We are driving to the offices, or we are catching matatus to the offices. And, so our work mostly involves sitting. a lot, and just like you've already explained what we should do, so movement is important. So if your job involves sitting a lot, then you must also be conscious of getting up at least and just pacing around.
In fact, we advise that you take breaks. If your job involves sitting, we always advise that you get an adjustable tables or an adjustable chair, so that like let's say after every 2 hours, you can just get up, adjust your table, and walk from there. Because of course we have to improve productivity. We don't want you to go outside and run around. We want you to walk, but at the same time protect your health. So we always say that take few breaks to stretch and to move around.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've seen people use certain, I don't know whether to say, gadgets, you know, to help them sit straight. You know, maybe it's in the office, so sometimes they put it at the back of the seat or in the cars. And I've also seen some gadgets where people can actually tie around their backs, you know, and fasten around their waist. Do they really help, or actually cause even more, you know, injury?
So in terms of the gadgets that people use in our day-to-day lives, for example, the one for sitting, a cushion. So it is both helpful and it can also harm you. Why do I say so? Because we all know that everything in excess is harmful. And when you are given this gadget, you're supposed to be told how to use it, because you might adjust it in a certain angle that predisposes you to more stress. So you will see, you will be assuming that you are helping yourself, but at the same time, you are harming yourself. So ensure that when you are getting these gadgets, get a proper explanation on how to use it. And whenever you are not sure, don't shy off from asking. Because the moment you ask, you are corrected, and we become well. Yes.
Thank you so much, Rogers, for that explanation. I want to delve into something that probably known, but in most cases, people might not be aware. It's called diastasis recti.
Yes.
I'm sure you're familiar with diastasis recti.
Yes.
And this is a condition that affects women during pregnancy, or at least after delivery.
Yes.
And that is because of the weight that they carry. Yes. And most women who have delivered, in most cases, will complain about back pain. Yeah, and all that. But even before you delve into how, or we delve into how physiotherapy can actually help in terms of rehabilitating someone with diastasis recti, let's just explain to us, first of all, what diastasis recti is.
So basically it means that your muscles, you see during pregnancy, our muscles, there are hormones that are produced so that it can prepare your body to carry the baby and to prepare for delivery. So these hormones include a relaxin hormone that basically relaxes your muscles, the ligaments, and the structures around your pelvic area, so that it can prepare for delivery. So in this condition, it means that these structures around this area have become, let me use this term, loose. Yes. And so after delivery, or even during pregnancy, we need to, there are certain exercises, like for example the Swiss ball exercises that are meant to help you strengthen your pelvic floor muscles, so that it can prepare you for pushing. And then also after delivery, we have also to restore the normal function of those particular stretch muscles, because a stretch muscle is a weak muscle. Yes. So a stretch muscle is a weak muscle.
So there's a connection between your abdominals and your back. And so in terms of diastasis recti, that means the muscles, I'm not so sure of the name, you're the expert, you'll tell us. It actually separates.
It separates,
yeah. And so that gives you a weak abdominal, and that is what causes the back pain.
Back pain.
Yeah? So when rehabilitating, first of all, how does it present itself, so that if case somebody is watching, they'll be able to, you know, understand like whether they have it or not, because they could be experiencing back pain after delivery, but actually the issue is not the back, the issue is actually the abdominals.
So the abdominals are stretched out during pregnancy, And when you stretch a muscle, as I said earlier, it becomes weak. Yes, because you are going beyond the limit that the normal limit. Yes. So and because during pregnancy there is a shift in the center of gravity because of the growing weight of the baby. So because of that, we put a lot of strain both on the abdominal muscles and the back muscles. Yes, that is why we always encourage people to engage in exercises during pregnancy and after pregnancy. Sorry. Yes. So basically, when you present with this condition, we have to first of all define where the source of the pain is, and then assess the extent to which the condition has affected you, because it presents differently for different people. Okay. You will get somebody who has the minor and then the severe one. Okay. So we have first of all to cluster. After that, now we draw a treatment plan for you. Yes, after identifying that the cause is the level of the weakness of the muscles, because the exercises depend on the level of the weakness of the muscles. Yes. So
that brings me to the day-to-day activities for people who love sports. You know, they don't have stroke or any other medical condition that they would warrant them to see a physiotherapist, but then they're active. They're involved in active lifestyle, whether they're going to the gyms and all that. So starting with even someone who has delivered, because in most cases when women have delivered, there's always that I want to get back to my previous, body and all that. Yes. What are some of the precautions, for instance, they're supposed to take? Because there's a different way that such a person is supposed to handle their exercises. Yes. But in physiotherapy, how do you then handle such a person?
So if I understand you correctly, we are talking about the normal people who want to engage in exercises. Yeah. Yes. So first of all, I will insist that exercise is very important, be it when you are sick or just normal. Yes. Let us be active. Let us move. Just move. Do those steps. Some of us do up to 10,000 steps in a day. Yes, just to burn that extra calorie so that we can maintain our body weight, so that we don't strain our bodies. Yes. So for such people, we do advise them that when you go to a gym, ensure that you are being handled by a trained person in a gym. That is a gym instructor. So a trained gym instructor knows that this person has a body weight of this amount, and they're supposed to lift a weight of up to a maximum of this. Now, when you are starting out at the gym, you don't have to go there and lift 100 kgs because you will be harming yourself. Yeah. So you have to gradually build your stamina. So we always advise people that when you go to a gym, please, first of all, if it's your first time, ensure that you engage a trainer. And be sincere, tell them it is my first time, and because I would wish to gain benefits. Of course, it will be painful the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but then you will get used to it. Now, when it comes to precautions to take in the gym, make sure that you are lifting properly. You are not lifting using your back. You are lifting using your leg muscles. Yes. And then also make sure that the weight is closer to you. Ensure that the base of support is you spread your legs. Yes, when lifting, so that you increase the base of support, and then you also avoid strains and sprains unnecessarily. Yes, so those are some of the few precautions. But of course, the precautions are in general. Some are unique to specific people, and some are of course applied to all of us. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so, how then is physiotherapy important to people who are, engaging in day-to-day activities?
So physiotherapy is very important to people engaging in day-to-day activities, because we are able first of all to assess your gait as you move. So we will be able to see that, oh, so and so is moving around, but we see that you have a challenge. You are probably moving with some bit of
slanting.
Slanting. Now, when your gait is not proper, like your clearance of the ground, you are dragging one leg. You see, according to you are normal. Yeah. But then when I see you, I will identify those particular challenges. Yes. So it is very important also when starting out on exercises, you can seek advice from a physiotherapist so that they can advise you on what is safe for you, so that you don't end up harming yourself in the process of trying to become physically fit. Yes, that is basically what I can.
I hear a lot of complaints, especially people who engage in cardio, which is either running or jogging for that matter,
or cycling.
Cycling, mostly people who are either exerting a lot of, can I say, weight when they are in the physical activity. So at what point then, we're talking about some of the signs that you need to pay attention to, that means you need to actually go for physiotherapy. So at what point should somebody be advised that this pain is just not a normal pain anymore?
So for people doing cardio, we cluster it. You can do it the non-weight bearing cardio or the weight bearing cardio. So for example, for cyclists, they will present with pains on the arms, on the elbows, even the shoulder, because of the shock. Like you are absorbing the let's say you are doing your cycling on an uneven terrain. So there is a lot of shock absorption that is happening on your shoulders. So when you experience any form of pain, I always say that pain is a very important signal in our lives, because the moment you lose the sense of pain, it means that you are predisposed to a lot of things. You can even get burned without realizing, you see? So use pain as a signal or as an indicator to seek for help from a physiotherapist. When you experience pain, shoulder pain, anywhere, please seek help from a physiotherapist. And I know, and when you go there, make sure that you are as sincere as possible when presenting your case, because that way now we'll be able to draw a proper treatment plan. We'll be able to modify the way you do your cardio. Yes. So we won't be able to achieve that if you hide some bit of information, because I have seen in the clinics, people come in, they tell you half the story. Now you end up misdiagnosing them. Yes. You end up treating something else, and then the pain persists for too long. By the time you realize that this was the cause, like you would have spent a lot of money.
Okay.
Yes. So let us be as sincere as possible when we visit our clinics, and then that way we will be able to get the right diagnosis and the right treatment.
Okay.
Yes.
So a pain more than, say, 2 weeks, if you're starting off on physical activity, is that a pain that should take you to the physiotherapist? Or is it a pain that is more than a month or two?
Not really. When you are starting out on exercise, we have something called post-exercise muscle soreness that is very common. And when you are starting out, it means that you have not been working out. This is a new thing, and the body is trying to adjust. So there is normal pain that you will experience. Now, if the pain persists for too long, kindly make sure that you seek for advice from a physiotherapist. Yes. Now, for the cases of the people who have been doing exercises for a very long time, they are not immune to this kind of exposures, because repetitive movements always predispose us to musculoskeletal challenges, which will present, of course, as pain.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Roger. So we want to take a short break, and we'll be back discussing more on the issue of physiotherapy and functional movement. So stay tuned.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you've just joined us, we're talking about functional movement and physiotherapy. Today being Tuesday is Health Tuesdays and I'm talking to Rogers Kitur. He is a physiotherapist. And Rogers, we've been talking about functional movement, physiotherapy and all that. And we've touched about generally almost everything, you know, when it comes to the day-to-day activities, when it comes to some of the conditions can predispose you to injuries or at least seeking physiotherapy services. But let's talk about a very special group, and this is the old, because this is where, in most cases, your functional movement will be affected, whether it's walking or just doing your daily activities, become very, very, very difficult. So what are some of those functional, can I say, movement interference that comes when somebody is, can I say, growing old?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we call them geriatric patients or geriatric clients. So it means that you have grown, you have done a lot of activities during your active years, and now your body is trying to give in and say that, oh, I think it's done. So old patients will present with a lot of movement limitations, joint stiffness, a lot of pain. Some will present, the most common is arthritis, yes. Some, and as we know, and as you grow old, our bone density also reduces, a condition called osteoporosis, as we all know. So, and it means that this particular group of people are predisposed to a lot of fractures, when a lot of falls, because now also your balance is going, because your brain is shrinking, so you are losing your balance, So in this particular specific condition called osteoporosis, we see it, that's why we always tell old patients, please watch your surfaces, don't slide, because when you fall, when you lose your balance, it means that your bone can easily snap. So we always advise them. We always try to educate them on falls prevention. Yes, so that we ensure that they remain active as much as possible, but also safe. Because you see, a simple event like a fall can lead to a hip fracture that will predispose you to surgery. This is now open surgery. Now, when you get an open surgery, it can predispose you to infections. If you get an infection, you can get sepsis out of the infection. And you see, a sepsis is a very critical condition that can easily cause death. So that's why we always insist that people who are old to move with a lot of care. Yes, and as we grow old, let us also adjust our environment. Don't insist on going to that toilet that is, the one that you go and crouch and adjust your space. Use a high adjustable toilet so that you don't stress your joints. You don't fall while trying to do your business. Let us also adjust our, if for example your bedroom is upstairs, it is not necessary. Please convert one of the rooms downstairs and sleep there comfortably, because going up the stairs also can also predispose you to falls. So we always tell them that you've lived. So now it's all about safety and ensuring that you stay with us longer so that we can be able to gain a lot from you. Yes.
Okay. So you've touched about osteoporosis, and women are most susceptible to osteoporosis. Probably could tell us why.
Yes.
Because calcium is also a very important, can I say, mineral in our bodies that actually plays a part in giving us strong bones. But why are women most susceptible to osteoporosis?
Women are more susceptible to osteoporosis simply because of the hormonal shift. You see, for ladies, during your younger age, you still have to hormonal balance. But when you reach menopause, there is a lot of, I would say, chaos or confusion in the body. So the regulations of the body is no longer okay. So it means that you will be losing a lot of calcium at a very alarming rate. So that's why it is very common. For us men, you see, we are active most of the time. So, and we are outside most of the time. So women are more predisposed to osteoporosis because of that, the hormonal shift after menopause.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's safe for me to say osteoporosis is just brittle. Your bones become very brittle.
Very brittle.
Okay.
Yes.
And so that brings me to bone health, because that's a part of our body that in most cases we don't even think about.
Yeah.
So we talk about how you should take care of your heart, how you should take care of your kidneys, for instance, drinking water, and then even how to build muscles and all that. But we also talk about how important building muscles is to the health of your bones.
Yes.
But then how should we then take care of our bones?
So basically, I would say bones are our structure. The way you look like this now, Marie, is because of the structure of the bones. If, for example, you add a bone that is curved, it means that your body structure would be curved. So I would say that bones keep us going. Like they are the main. The reason as to why I'm seated like this is because of the bones. Yes. So bone health is very important, and calcium is also very important in the bones. And we know the many sources of calcium, but the basic one is vitamin D. That one will help you to gain a lot of calcium.
So you need to go out and for
there.
The sun.
Yes,
yeah?
Go out there. And especially also in children.
Yeah.
We see children nowadays spending a lot of time on TVs, inside and all that. It is not very good for them. Let them go and play around so that they can at least get some exposure to vitamin D, so that they can be able to get sufficient calcium and strong bones. Yes. Now, for the cases of osteoporosis, let's say fractures and the rest, we always have supplements for calcium, and they are there. And we always prescribe them when we get patients who have osteoporosis, who are recovering from fractures. So we have calcium supplements that are there, and ensure that the calcium supplement that you are getting is certified, because we have a lot of monkey business also in the market. Somebody can be selling you things that are not working. So you have also to be very careful in whatever you consume. Ensure that you get the proper prescription from a health professional or bone experts, so that for that matter you benefit rather than to be duped. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to ask you this question, because I involve myself a lot in physical activity, and I recently came across a talk, if I may call it that way, and there's a way you can actually scan your bones to know the health of your bone. How important is that? Because we can go do MRIs where we need to know you know, when you're doing your overall health check. So in most cases, they will only take your blood tests, they will do your, you know, look at the ECG when it comes to your heart and all. But how important is it for us to regularly check the health of our bones, even as we grow older?
So basically osteoporosis, let me go back to osteoporosis because that means that you are losing your bone health. So how we diagnose it is when you take an x-ray, there is a way a bone should look like and there is a way a porous bone will look like. So an x-ray will always show you your bone health. Yes. Of course we have other things like biopsies and all that, but the safest way that they usually use, we use an x-ray to check for your bone health because that is what will actually reveal that is this bone normal or it is porous.
Okay.
Yes. Because so from there now we can move to what you need to do after that. Yes.
And also I've recently learned that it's very, very important for us to build muscle as we grow older, because then our movement is slightly reduced when you grow older. Like children and young people were always outside there. When you grow older, you tend to, you know, your movement is curtailed, or at least is not as much as the young people. And that in itself, that means you lose muscle as you grow older. So how important is muscle growth as you grow older, and how can we maintain our muscle?
So muscle growth is very important, especially when you are growing old, because you see this is a time when you're spending most of the time probably sitting, sleeping, and doing all that. So the reason as to why we encourage people to gain some weight at old age is because of the pressures. You will be easily predisposed to pressure. So if you don't have enough, let me say enough muscle to absorb the stress that comes with the surfaces that we interact with at our age. So that's why we always say, please gain some weight as you grow old, because that way now you will get a cushion to absorb that extra. So you know the action and reaction. Yes. So it is very important for you to be able to gain some muscle mass. Yes, and we all know how to gain a muscle mass is through weightlifting. Yes, and also diet. So we have to be cautious about we have to watch our weight, not just watching but doing something about it. Okay, last but not least, I want to bring in the issue of stress, sleep, and diet, but in a nutshell, because my time is also running out, or at least our time is running out for this discussion. How important is sleep at the end of the day, and just keeping a healthy lifestyle when it comes to your overall health, definitely bone health, and now talking about physiotherapy? So the simple sleep is simply resting. After a long day of a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of exposures, our body needs space to be able to recover from all that. So sleep is very important, and it is always recommended that if you can do 8 hours of sleep in a day, I know of course it is hard to do that, but ensure that at least most of the time you do 8 hours of sleep, so that you can give, you know, at night we have the phases of sleep, and at night our body is always recovers. Yes, there are hormones that will be released so that it can calm your body. It also reduces stress. Yes, because as you sleep, it means that you are not being exposed to a lot of so the body will just relax. Yes, so when you wake up the next day, you will be well. Yes, there is also one more thing. Stretching is very important. Yes, when you wake up very early in the morning, you will feel that you are a bit stiff. Don't deny yourself the pleasure of stretching. Just stretch. Yes, just stretch. And then also during the day, when after sitting for too long, stand, stretch. The simple stretches, there is no magic about stretching. You know that for you to stretch here, for you to stretch this side, your neck, the same.
And the body always speaks
Yeah.
at the end of the day. When you wake up, there's a way you feel your body. And so, like you said, don't deny yourself that stretch because there's a way it feels.
Yeah.
It's very nice and it relieves and all that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Roger Skitur. We've been speaking to Roger Skitur. He's a physiotherapist, just giving us, the general outlook of what physiotherapy is all about and what functional movement is. He's also talked about how best we can take care of our health when it comes to functional movement and when should you be able to seek physiotherapy if you need one. And of course, just concluding by just talking to us of how old age does affect our health and what we need to do to take care of our bones, for that matter, because they actually are the foundations of our structure. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us on Good Morning Kenya. It's been Health Talk on Health Tuesday. Rogers, thank you so much for coming, and we hope to have you back maybe one of these fine days just to talk to us about our general health when it comes to, bone health, physiotherapy and all that. So thank you so much. And I think right about now, my colleague Regina Manyara is out there just trying to bring us up to speed with what is happening. So I'll be handing it over to the directors to take us there. Tell us what's happening where you are.
Thank you very much, Marie. Indeed, we're coming to you live from the Tamarind Hotel, where we are having quite the round table. We're talking about the Global Engineering Capacity Review of 2025, and this is being led by none other than the local engineering fraternity. We're looking at the Kenyan space and also the East African community space. Remember, the profession, the leaders and stakeholders within this particular value chain have been decrying a skills gap. So they're coming together to decide and to chart the way forward on how to improve, working environment, the ecosystem within the EAC, as well as on a global platform. Joining me is none other than the Engineers Board of Kenya CEO Registrar, that is Engineer Margaret Ogai. Thank you very much for making time. And we're crossing borders to my left, joined by the Registrar in Uganda, Ronald Mugwera. Thank you very much. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. All right. So now, this particular roundtable is basically a review that was coined in July. And we're looking at the findings. From where you sit, Madam Registrar, what are your expectations of this particular review?
Thank you very much. Yes, the Global Engineering Capability Review of 2025 did an assessment of all the inputs and the outcomes to making safe, resilient, and sustainable engineering processes, systems, and infrastructure. And so I think there are 115 different countries that were in that report. Kenya was amongst one of the countries. So this report has been prepared by the Royal Academy of Engineers together with the Lloyd's Register Foundation under the Engineering X project. And we are very proud partners. Myself, I participated in this. And after the launch, we are now doing this dissemination. And really, we want to have conversations to see where are the gaps, where are the good study cases that we might have globally, and to try and adapt our systems and processes so that we can improve on engineering practice and delivery of infrastructure within our country and the region. And so today we are quite a number of actors. We've called together this roundtable with all the actors in the engineering chain, right from the academia. We also have then the contractors, the engineers, and basically everybody who is involved in delivering of engineering services. And we are really looking forward to great and rich conversations. Thank you.
Very well said. So from where I sit, actually, from that particular quick summary, it indicates that all stakeholders are going to be participating in this roundtable. Now let's cross borders. What is the status report when it comes to engineering in Uganda, sir?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, first of all. I think when it's come to Uganda, we also have to thank the Royal Academy of Engineering UK. They have been supporting us on the same. And like we said, we are one region, and I'm happy they also considered not only Kenya, but in this global assessment, they considered quite a number of countries. And we are happy as Africa, we are not left behind. So when it comes to Uganda, we also have those challenges. We look at safety in engineering, the use of professionals. I think we have a challenge of using professionals in the country, but also sustainability. When you are designing these engineering systems, we look at sustainability. So the report actually covers most of the things that are also affecting us in this engineering space. And I'm also happy it was launched, and we are here in Nairobi to discuss it and have it officially launched and disseminated to all our stakeholders.
Right. So when you talk about sustainability, especially when it comes to the engineering profession, we are also talking about emerging issues such as matters, climate and technology. From where you sit in the Kenyan scope, do we have the requisite capacities to handle these developments?
Yes, thank you. Yes, indeed, I think engineering is very wide, and the practitioners are trained across all the issues that you would need to consider as you come up with your design for safe engineering. So we are, and we do have, even when we look at government, we do have the National Environment Management Authority. We work agency, we work closely with them. We work with National Construction Authority ourselves. And when we come to the universities, of course, we are also delivering and training on environmental issues. So the curriculum is also something that we look at. How do also our students, by the time you have graduates, they have to meet some certain attributes so that they're able to design these systems that are safe and sustainable for all of us. So to me, as you're saying, there are emerging issues, amongst them climate change and the actions that we need to be taking. And these are part of the conversations that we shall also be having. How do we strengthen where we see there are gaps? Yeah, because definitely there are still going to be some gaps. I think in Kenya we're currently experiencing very heavy rainfalls, and we've seen in Elgeyo-Marakwet County where we've had floods, and we need to look at how do we mitigate these disasters to human beings as they live, and what engineering interventions we can make, all of us, to make things safe for our citizens, and I think the whole globe.
So where do we draw the nexus between academia and professionals when it comes to matters engineering, sir?
Academia and professionals, I see them as the same people. They support each other. All engineers actually are academias, and you'll not be surprised that when we finish engineering school, it is very easy to recruit academia from engineering. So we work hand in hand. In Uganda, and I think also East Africa at large, we have that nexus or support between academia and the people in the field, the professionals who are working. So we normally exchange ideas. We have people from academia coming to industry, but also us in industry, we also go to academia to disseminate information, to share ideas and to share skills that are in the industry but may not be in academia. So we normally support each other, and then we come up with better solutions.
Now, so the nexus between profession and academia, in as far as emerging issues, as your counterpart, registrar from Kenya, has said, is that we need to reinvent ourselves in this particular niche sector. Market readiness of engineers that we are channeling out vis-a-vis having professionals taking up engineering jobs within this East African scope. What is your take in regard to that aspect?
I think we are churning out engineers who can support us. Currently, if you look in the region, we are collaborating in the region, East African Community, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and the other new countries of South Sudan, Congo, and even Somalia. So we are producing engineers, and we believe that the issues we have in our countries, our engineers we are producing are able to tackle them. We just need to give them space. We may not have skills maybe in Uganda, but through that cross-border and sharing experiences, we are able to pick on, if we have engineers who are innovative, who have done similar projects maybe in Kenya, we can always export across the borders. So in the region, we have our association, our MRA, that's the Mutual Recognition Agreement, which allows us to exchange engineers and services between one country to another. So we are able as a region to support each other and solve the emerging issues that could be challenging one country or the other.
Then does this mean that the Washington Accord has come into place at the right time, when we need it, Madam Mugai?
Yes, certainly. I think we are also training our engineers to be global engineers. So for us, I think as Kenya, we are very proud that we are now provisional signatory status. We attained it in June from the Washington Accord under the International Engineering Alliance. And this helps us to adopt, first of all, the quality of our engineering education. therefore now meets a global standard. We are training our engineers, as my counterpart from Uganda has said. We already have standards, but these were local standards. The differences are not much. In fact, most of the lecturers were saying it is just the focus now is more on the attributes and the outcomes, what you're talking about, readiness. And so we have 3 programs today which are accredited to the Washington Accord status, and we are now going through motions with all our universities that are training engineers to have all their programs converted to this standard. And one of the things is that you always use the industry to also develop the curriculum. That makes the relevance. And then I can assure you, in Kenya, we have trained over 30,000 engineers. And we currently have over 22,000 engineers in the universities. And this strong workforce actually is working globally and is meeting the standards that are required to deliver good engineering products. I think when you look at our infrastructure agenda as a country, what we are delivering, if you look at all the roads, the bridges, the telecommunication systems that we have, they're largely driven by our own local engineers, and they meet global standards. So we are very proud of them. I think what we're looking for is also now having that global recognition so that our engineers also can service beyond our borders, and also that even as we accept those from across the borders, we are also using the same standards. So I must say we are very proud as Kenyans that for today we have the mutual recognition agreement within East Africa. So there's global mobility for our engineers. If you don't have a specific expertise, we have borrowed it. We have borrowed it even from within East Africa. I think the mining engineering programs that we needed to accredit, we have used somebody from Tanzania. And we are also able to also service the rest of the globe, the region especially, where they also need some skills. And I think this is the direction we are looking at. How do we have harmonization of standards so that your engineers, you don't have to take them for retesting or retraining. They just fit into the job. I think I want to just respond to one thing. We keep saying that our graduates, when they leave, they are not ready. The truth of the matter is that after we train our engineers, after they graduate for 3 years, they are supposed to work for 3 years in industry and then come for professional registration. And that is a good process because they have the academic qualifications that are required to deliver on the programs. So to me, they're ready. The only issue is that we have to give them the 3 years, relevant training, experience, and then that person is very, very productive and is able to run really big infrastructure programs for us. Thank you.
And that is where the graduate engineers have actually taken issue, is that they're not getting placements, within the industry. How do we work to correct this? Let's hear from Uganda. That's the registrar Uganda. How do we address this issue? We have graduates that are ready academically, but then is the industry ready to give them opportunities to practice and get the requisite certification?
Thank you. I think we also face a similar challenge in Uganda. Many graduates are saying when they come out of university, they don't get placement. Some of them have decided to switch professions. You'll find a graduate who did engineering is doing Okada, boda. How can a graduate be doing engineering, doing boda? But I think the challenge we've been having, I think as a countries in the region, in the East African region, we need now a policy where we employ all these companies. We have many foreign companies, the contractors. I don't know that it's the same in Kenya, but you find a contractor is given a job in the region, then they bring their own professionals. They bring their graduates and they work here. So it should be a policy, not only in Uganda, but in the region, where we employ or compel on these big infrastructure projects to have as many graduates as possible taken up by these projects. But also as governments, we need to have a structured graduate training opportunity. We should be able to place all our graduates, at least majority of them, in the companies, government factories, or even private factories. Private sector and government work together, and in engineering, we all build together. So the more you train engineers in these sectors, the more we shall be able to utilize them as a region and as countries. So with the dedicated policy from government, of course, compelling the companies, but also government factories and engineering firms, we should be able to to use these graduates and train them for our better region.
As you're talking about graduates, we still have a very low number of women in this particular profession. I know, Engineer Margaret Ogai, as a registrar, you have really been pushing to have more women come on board. And inroads, what inroads have you made, and where are the challenges still? What is still so difficult in having women in this, more women to join you from where you sit?
Thank you very much. I'll start by saying, yes, the numbers we have for engineers in Kenya, women engineers is, about 14% on our register, which is low. And we have done a lot of things. I think at the universities, there is hope. We're at about 30% today. So what we've done is we are looking at structures to support women in their careers. We have, through the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, we have a Women Engineers chapter. It's very active. And they're looking at mainstreaming gender policies because a lot, and I think these are some of the things we are doing. We are also looking at a call to all our stakeholders, I think, give women the chance. We find many times our young graduates, because of course they are the stages where they're also starting their families, there tends to be, the employers tend to shy away from them. But we think we need to give them those support systems to be able to still excel in their career. I think all is not lost. I'm sure you've seen that we are having also quite a number of women successful in engineering, and we are looking to countries like Malaysia, which I think have more than 50%, that 50% parity of the engineers are women and men. So we are also getting, and that is why I think we have also global collaborations to see who is getting it right and how do we improve. I think in Kenya it's more of a cultural issue and possibly a lot of, and also exposure. So we go back all the way to these days the high schools just to mentor the young students, because we realized selection of courses is very, very important. If you drop out physics or mathematics, then you have already chosen yourself out of the pathway for engineering. And I think these efforts are making a difference, but a lot more needs to be done. I agree, and I think I would only call on our young ladies. Please, this is just a career like any other. This can be enriching. This is also an economic issue for you. If you can, consider engineering as a profession, and I think we're here to try and put all the structures that we need to make you succeed in that field. And again, let me say this: beyond the individual engineers who are women, we need the gender lens in how we design and deliver a safe, resilient, and sustainable engineering infrastructure. Because you need, what are the solutions you have for the transportation? There's a woman who's got to take her children who's got many short trips before she goes and settles her job in the morning. Do we cater for that in our mass transportation systems? So I think it's really a call for us in government. And I must say, let me also comment that in government we have an advisor for women rights, and she has been very instrumental in setting up committees as well, like the Women in Construction, just also looking at this issue: how do we support our women? And now we also have policies around the 30% that you have to give to women, youth, and persons with disabilities. So we also ensure through those systems that we are giving tenders to our women contractors and women engineering consulting firms. But there's still a lot, I must say, that needs to be done.
So from Uganda, is it a cultural issue, or what is a challenge in Uganda, Engineer Ronald?
Yes, a cultural issue. It's not very different from Kenya. I think the way the African society is, I think ladies or women, they've been somehow the culture forces them to stay behind. Even those days when you're in primary school, you'll know that mathematics is supposed to be done by boys. It's like a culture. So a girl comes into school and they know mathematics is for boys. For us, we do other social things. So it's something that we need to build from down there. So it's been prevalent in the rest of Africa, especially this region. We need to train and let ladies or girls know that actually engineering can be done by them. sciences are something we can all do. We are all equal and we are able to do it. But the same challenge we have in Uganda, just very few lady engineers. I think we have about 6%. So Kenya, you are doing much better. You have double. At 14, it's much, much better. But I think we can do better. Like Margaret has said, we need to start from the grassroots, give opportunities to ladies, give opportunities to girls so that they can do sciences and eventually they become engineers. Thank you.
Now, as we bring this to a close, I'd want to give my eminent persons here an opportunity to just tell us what the review is all about and what are the expectations. Let's start off with you, Madam Registrar, Engineer Ogai. What are your expectations once you disseminate this particular report or review, if you like?
Thank you. I really want to appreciate that, preparing a review, doing a report is one thing. And I think this is something I really commend the Royal Academy of Engineers for the dissemination part, where we are having discussions, in-depth discussions. What does this imply? What are the results going to imply for Kenya? How do we then start identifying which are the gaps that we have? Which are the best cases that we have so that we can strengthen? And I think we're going to end up, at the end of this, I'm looking forward to forward-looking policies, forward-looking programs that are going to close the gaps that we have to strengthen engineering. Engineering really is what is going to be, I think, catalyze development in our economies. And so it is something we are very glad. Let me also say that we have our Principal Secretary, Engineer Joseph Bogwa, from the PS Roads. He's be joining us. I think this is just to show that it's very important we also carry along our policy makers and all the practitioners so that whatever we're discussing is something that is implementable and also gets ownership. So I think for me, this is really what I'm looking forward to, discussions that will bring us what are the outcomes we are looking for, what do we take forward, where do we really plug in, and in a very collaborative manner, both locally and, as you've seen, regionally, and also finally globally. I think it's also good to really appreciate that I think we've done this very closely also with the Lloyd's Register Foundation. We have a small study we are doing with them as Engineers Board of Kenya, which is also going to be part of the discussions, so that we are looking at just safety in construction. And I think this is something relevant to every citizen in the country. How do we make your lives better? By one, creating resilient, safe infrastructure for you to use as you do your daily work. Thank you.
Right. Very well said. I'd want to release the registrar, that's the CEO of the Engineers Board of Kenya, and make way to hear from the representatives from the Royal Engineers Academy to just give us a brief why this particular review and what its objectives are. So before we hear from the Royal Engineers Academy, let's have the final word from Uganda. That is the registrar from Uganda, Ronald Mgwara. What are your expectations as you disseminate this particular review, this report?
The expectations are that when we do this review and disseminate, we don't leave it on the day of dissemination. Sometimes when we disseminate these reports, we stop at that. The report was disseminated in Nairobi on this day on 11th November. What next? So just like Margaret said, we need to take this forward. The policy makers, our politicians, our leaders, we need to pick from this study. When these studies are done, they help us to show us our gaps, where we need to improve, what we need to do. And this is a global perspective. So we are learning from other countries. So what I expect is that once we disseminate this report, policy makers should pick it up. As a region in East Africa, we should be able to harmonize the way we do things, safety and engineering, capacity building, and all the issues that have been picked out in this study. So the policies should be emanating from this, and we shall make our place a better place to stay.
Now, the report, or rather the review, is the subject matter of our conversation here this morning, where stakeholders within the engineering fraternity have come together. And we're not talking just about those who are playing within the Kenyan space, but also across the East African region. And the question is, why this particular report? Joining us is the Engineering Academy that has been charged with coming up with this. As we just bring to a close, what should we expect?
Hi, my name is Claire. I'm from the Royal Academy of Engineering in the UK. And I think we've brought this review here to Kenya because we've been working here for over a decade on supporting engineering education. So the Royal Academy of Engineering works on engineering in the UK, but we also believe very strongly in the importance of engineering to solving lots of our global challenges. And for that reason, we believe it's really important to collaborate with engineers internationally to support the profession and to develop it further. So with Lloyd's Register Foundation, we have developed this review. And now the importance for us of bringing it here is to, as my colleagues were saying, to begin to disseminate it, to see what it really means in practice on the ground. And we've brought it here because there's so much already going on here in East Africa and also in Kenya. And we wanted to hear from our colleagues here about how we can use this global data set that we've put together, which covers 115 countries. But now we want to bring it down and to see, well, how can it help add value to what people are doing on the ground?
Can you give us a sneak peek as to what the key objectives for you from where you sit, having interacted with this particular data? What are the areas that we really need to address?
So I think for me, coming out of the report, I think beyond the very basic one about the importance of engineering to our futures and also to growth in the future as well, but growth in a sustainable way, I think that the other thing that comes out very strongly from it is the need for this, which you've already been talking about, is about how can different sectors come together to really try and work together to improve the engineering ecosystem. So how do we get, both academia and industry and government working really closely together? And I think that's one of the key things that we hope comes out of this workshop, is how can we all move forward together to develop very concrete actions about how to improve engineering into the future. I mean, I think one of the things to highlight is that in the future, many of the engineers in the world will come from Africa. So it's really important for everyone, not only for Kenya and East Africa, but for the world, that we support the engineering profession here. And that we ensure that we all have the engineers we need for the future, who are not only constructing things, but constructing things safely and in a way which is good both for people and for the planet.
Very well said. As you've heard, we are coming to you live from the Tamarind Hotel, where stakeholders are going to be sitting in this particular roundtable to work on those issues that we have highlighted in our very short interview this morning. Just looking at the policy gaps as well as how to engineer for the future. And good things are coming out from Africa is that stakeholders now and experts actually believe that the next set of engineers is going to be coming from Africa, and more so, why not Kenya? These are the issues that are going to be addressed with stakeholders calling for a nexus between academia, government, as well as industry to chart the way forward for sustainable engineering. I'm Regina Manyara. I want to hand you over to Broadcasting House for normal programming. And in not too long, we're going to be crossing over to Uhuru Gardens, where the EAC MSME exhibition is currently underway. And today is going to be the official opening, where the chief guest is none other than President William Ruto, who is going to be also gracing this particular occasion, one that has not been done in so many years, and actually one out of the many unique aspects that Kenya is leading at the fore, leveraging on technology and how to bring MSMEs, address challenges like market access, as well as, how to improve their capacities, leveraging on technology going forward. We'll be keeping tabs on that. I want to hand you over back to Broadcasting House.
In Kenya, thousands of families face a quiet crisis, a disease that erases names, faces, and stories. This is Alzheimer's disease, and according to Dr. Magada, Alzheimer's is at times